Part 15. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 141. Okay, I understand. Just wait until I have something to eat and then go record the song. After finishing the communication, it was already 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Gu Huiyan has strong live performance, good singing skills and fast recording, so there is no need to be so anxious. I drank wine last night, and when I woke up, my stomach felt uncomfortable. I had to eat something. Good. Zhang Nuan also went back to the room to prepare for the time being. After Zhang Nuan left, Gu Huiyan looked for his cell phone and went to the living room. He opened the curtains of the floor-to-ceiling windows and saw the beautiful scenery of more than 10 floors. It's just that the weather is not very good today, it is a bit cloudy, the sky is blue, but there is not much sunshine. It's also like Gu Huiyan's mood, which is just not good. Tisk tisk. Gu Huiyan smacked his lips slightly, and for some reason, Gu Huiyan felt a little disappointed. In fact, he originally thought he could meet Pei Jingshu after waking up this morning, have a meal together, go shopping and so on. The two of them really get together less and stay apart more. They rarely have any private time offline, and their relationships are often cultivated in private. Gu Huiyan picked up the phone and checked it. He didn't see Pei Jingshu sending him a message. Maybe her sister took the phone away from her again. Gu Huiyan also knew that she was busy with work, and maybe she was afraid of disturbing him, but Gu Huiyan thought, why don't we say goodbye before leaving? This long-distance relationship is really hard. Gu Huiyan smiled bitterly, feeling a little helpless, just thinking like this. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the door suddenly. Gu Huiyan was stunned. Who would knock on the door at this time? Pei Jingshu? Although he knew it was unlikely, Gu Huiyan still looked forward to it. He went over to open the door and saw that it seemed to be the hotel's room service. He was indeed a little disappointed. Gu Huiyan was not surprised, but he was a little confused. I didn't call room service. It seemed like some breakfast or something. Was it Zhang Nuan who shouted? The lady in room ordered breakfast for you when you checked out. The hotel service staff answered Gu Huiyan like this. Hearing this, Gu Huiyan was stunned. If he remembered the room number correctly, it should be Pei Jingshu's room, right? So Pei Jingshu ordered this breakfast for him. Come in. Gu Huiyan was a little happy, so Pei Jingshu didn't forget about him. He stepped aside, and the service staff pushed the dining car in and placed breakfast on the table for Gu Huiyan. It's not that rich. It consists of millet porridge and a few vegetarian steamed buns. Gu Huiyan wouldn't even look down on such a vegetarian breakfast, but he doesn't know why he's quite happy right now. The lady who checked out asked us to pass this on to you. The service staff handed Gu Huiyan a card before leaving. Gu Huiyan took it casually, and after the service staff left, he opened it and took a look. On the card, Zhuangziu's font should be Pei Jingshu's. She wrote. Don't eat greasy food after drinking last night. I just wanted to order millet porridge for you, but considering that you have never had the habit of just drinking porridge, I ordered steamed buns with carrot stuffing, which I like. Hope you like it too. Actually, I think it would be more interesting to do it myself, but I don't have the conditions and I'm not very good at it. I'll take the time to learn. I originally wanted to say something else, but seeing that you rested very late last night and drank too much, I was afraid of disturbing you, so I had to use this method. There seems to be a small sentence here, but it was crossed out by Pei Jingshu. She simply added. See you in Yunnan in a few days. Pei Jingshu. The words on this card reveal a ladylike feeling, very polite and impeccable. As expected of Pei Jingshu, the writing is simple and fluent, probably for Gu Huiyan, so there are no complicated words, and it is very comfortable to read, like mountains and flowing water. Pei Jingshu usually talks little and is actually quite aloof. Perhaps she only talks so much when writing. The things she crossed out were probably because she thought she accidentally talked too much. After reading the card that Pei Jingshu left for him, Gu Huiyan was actually quite happy. He picked up a bun and stuffed it into his mouth. To be honest, Gu Huiyan didn't like carrot filling very much. There shouldn't be many people in this world who grew up with it. I just like carrots. However, Gu Huiyan was quite happily gnawing at the moment. If some viewers looked at it, they would say that he was smiling like a stupid roe deer. He stared at the card Pei Jingshu left for him for a long time, and even took a few photos with his mobile phone. To be honest, Gu Huiyan occasionally felt that Pei Jingshu's words were a bit. Be polite. See outside. Nothing very personal. Like everyone can see it. Gu Huiyan didn't care, he felt quite happy when he saw the words on the card. Pei Jingshu is such a girl. Her childhood environment and her personality determine that the kind of relationship she yearns for should be. Lifting the case with eyebrows raised, treating each other with respect as guests. Maybe Gu Huiyan is more vulgar, but he is willing to respect Pei Jingshu's feelings. Nibbling on the carrot buns that Pei Jingshu left for him, for a moment, Gu Huiyan thought. Why does Pei Jingshu look like a little white rabbit? Outside the window, the sky gradually cleared up, and the sun shone through the gaps in the clouds. In the afternoon, Gu Huiyan went to record under the flying clouds. In the evening, the plane flew over Shasha to shoot a set of commercials. By the way, the quality of Gu Huiyan's advertisements and endorsements has improved now. Those who came to him a few days ago were all about food, such as buns, crispy noodles, potato chips, snacks and stuff. But in the past 2 days, I feel that the job has started to become more high-end. Gu Huiyan even accepted an endorsement for a suit brand. Needless to say, Gu Huiyan's figure is quite suitable for wearing a suit. He is 1.8 meters tall and has small shoulders. Broad, a natural fit for a suit. The suit brand is quite satisfied with his image. After catching up on a few commercials and endorsements, I will fly to Yunnan immediately to continue recording Crystal Love Season. Because Gu Huiyan is quite popular in the past 2 days, many people on the internet called Gu Huiyan to return to Crystal Love Season as soon as possible. The Crystal Courtyard without Gu Huiyan is not interesting at all, not lively at all. Shang Zuoyan practices dancing every day without seeing anyone. Sister Xylin takes her own staff out to travel and see the scenery when she has nothing to do, which is quite willful. PD Zhang Shuajiang is back, and the program team also invited a new female guest for him. The two of them had a heated fight and even had sparks, but it's a CP that popped up, but I also feel like it has some ideas. Be greasy. Zhang Shuo is usually pretty good at pretending, but he is actually a bit domineering in love. Scripts like The Domineering President have been out of date for I don't know how many years, okay. Having said that, actor Su is quite happy during this period. He has been making tea every day for the past 2 days. After making Longjing, he made Magian, and after making Magian, he made Puer. 1 pot in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, 2 pots of tea a day, which is quite moist. I even studied Bajuanjin when I had nothing to do a few days ago. It's like going to cultivate immortality. Once Gu Huiyan left, no one disturbed his style. Yesterday, he even dared to take out the A5 Weijia that Gu Huiyan left a psychological shadow on him and eat it. Maybe the actor Su is indeed high-end, but some people would say, he's a bit pretentious. One Jiu even said, Gu Huiyan, please come back quickly and treat him. He is so capable of being a monster. Gu Huiyan was in jail before, everyone knows that, but now that everything is fine, if you don't come back, can you still make it to the final hand-holding session? You won't even be able to keep up with the hot food when you eat it. Crystal Love Season took a month to record, but actually there is only a little more than a week left. It may be that Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu came out of this show, so everyone actually still wants to see their official announcement on this show. Speaking of which, Pei Bonzu has gone completely crazy recently, and other CPS related to Gu Huiyan have completely lost any competitiveness in front of this pair. The day before flying to Yunnan. After finishing the shooting, Gu Huiyan was sitting under the shade of a tree to enjoy the coolness. He was holding a mobile phone in his hand as if he was buying something on a certain online store. Zhang Nuan saw black lines all over his head and couldn't help but remind him. Don't buy cheap things online. The brands you are endorsing are some of the high-end brands. If you ruin other people's image. Although the spokespersons and advertisers didn't say it, their team couldn't help but care. Gu Huiyan grinned and said nothing. Seeing his careless look, Zhang Nuan was helpless and couldn't help but ask. I'll go back to Crystal Love season tomorrow. Have you figured out how to get along with Shang Zuoyan? In fact, for now, Gu Huiyan's various disturbances and rhythms have subsided. There are no other problems with Gu Huiyan's return to Crystal Love season except Shang Zuoyan. Gu Huiyan's turmoil and rhythm some time ago were almost all caused by Shang Zuoyan. Gu Huiyan took Shang Zuoyan to fry cow dung. Shang Zuoyan had no responsibility at all for this matter, and she didn't blame Gu Huiyan, but she couldn't bear it. During this period, the group of people were using Shang Zuoyan as their spearhead, and they were all feeling sorry for Shang Zuoyan. This will make the audience feel embarrassed when Gu Huiyan meets Shang Zuoyan, because in the audience's heart Shang Zuoyan cares about this matter. And what about Gu Huiyan? He and Shang Zuoyan didn't care about this. What they cared about was probably Shang Zuoyan's misunderstood confession when Gu Huiyan was brushing his shoes that night. After that day, Gu Huiyan never saw Shang Zuoyan again. There were so many turmoils on the internet, and they had no contact. He is going back tomorrow, and Gu Huiyan really doesn't know how to get along with Shang Zuoyan. Talk later. He shook his head, not wanting to dwell on this topic too much, and just said. Are you going back tomorrow? In fact, when he finally had time, he still wanted to take the time to go home. Wasn't it because something happened some time ago and his mother was worried about it? Since nothing happened recently, Gu Huiyan wanted to go back in person to make sure he was safe. Well, I don't know when tomorrow will arrive. It might be at night, Zhang Nuan replied. If I go back tomorrow, I might have to arrive in the middle of the night, because there is still a group of filming tomorrow. Gu Huiyan shrugged, thinking that in this case he could only call home when he had nothing to do at night to make sure he was safe. By the way, who is the new female guest? Gu Huiyan asked again. A few days ago, I heard that there was a new female guest in Crystal Love season, and she was the CP assigned to Zhang Shuo. I have been so busy these 2 days that I almost forgot who it was, Gu Huiyan. Shen Qingqing, Zhang Nuan replied. Shen Qingqing, a female idol who debuted in a girl group audition, has a cooing voice, is a deadbeat, likes to act cute and mean, and is very arrogant, so she has the nickname of Little Pervert. She has a strong sense of variety shows and often contributes various famous scenes on the show, so her variety show resources are pretty good. But there are rumors in the circle that she is a bit T. It is worth mentioning that the girl group talent show where she debuted was led by Zhang Shuo, who also served as a PD mentor in the show. And Shen Qingqing made no secret of her like for Zhang Shuo both inside and outside the show. She often says that Zhang Shuo is her idol. She first entered the circle because of her pursuit of the star Zhang Shuo. She often forwards Zhang Shuo's new albums etc. Fans must have thought she was a true fan and praised her in various ways, saying that she was really the #1 person who chases stars and becomes a star. But anyone with a discerning eye in the industry can see that she is dragging Zhang Shuo into bundled marketing to gain access to Zhang Shuo's traffic. After waiting for so long, she recently took the opportunity to come to Crystal Love season to compete for CP with Zhang Shuo. She couldn't be happier. In the past 2 days, she has been pestering Zhang Shuo all day long, calling her brother Zhang Shuo and Zhang PD, and sometimes dragging Zhang Shuo to take a group photo or something. Every day on Weibo, I can see her entry of showing affection. Zhang Shuo has been quite helpless recently. Shen Qingqing has been pestering them like a dogskin plaster for bundled marketing and can't get rid of them. When Jiang's mother asked Zhang Shuo to come back, she would paint the pie for him. He was very happy when he was asked to invite a female guest to promote his CP alone. The moment he saw Shen Qingqing, both he and his team were stupid. I feel like I've been tricked by Zhang Dan, okay. The key issue is that he still has to be fired, because the popularity of the show is there, he has returned, and the audience has seen it, so naturally he can't just leave. I've been really sick for the past 2 days. Anyway, it's pretty interesting. Puff. After hearing PD Jiang's tragic experience, Gu Huiyan almost laughed and expressed his deep sympathy. So in fact, Gu Huiyan sometimes also thinks, fortunately Zhang Ma is his boss, if the other party was tricked to death, he wouldn't know how he would die. Gu Huiyan has no interest in this green tea. Anyway, now that he has Pei Jingshu, he doesn't think much about anything else. There is still a while to rest. After July, the temperature in the whole country is really high. There are few places that are not hot. Gu Huiyan is still in Changsha. I don't know if it is the rainy season here. It has been raining recently. There are so many TMS, I wish it could rain every day. Before it rains, it's so sweltering. After wiping the sweat from his forehead, Gu Huiyan thought of Shang Zuoyan again. In fact, he felt that it was not so difficult for them to reconcile. Very close friends sometimes just wait for each other to say a word, and there is no need for them to become strangers just because of online comments. So Gu Huiyan thought, why not bring her a gift? But what to buy? As the most popular female idol in domestic entertainment, there is really nothing that Shang Zuoyan has not seen before. He is in Long Shark, but there is no sincerity in souvenirs. Buy something expensive, don't say that others can't see it. Gu Huiyan was a little reluctant to leave. The main thing is that a gift of a bag or jewelry can easily cost tens or even millions. Gu Huiyan is now famous and has received a lot of endorsements, advertising fees, and various song copyright fees, but the time is short, so not much can be obtained. Which means the copyright fee is less than 1 million. Isn't it a bit embarrassing to empty your wallet to buy gifts for Shang Zuoyan? Moreover, giving too expensive gifts does not feel consistent with his personality, and the audience and fans cannot accept it. It just so happened that Gu Huiyan was swiping a certain treasure. I came across something very interesting. This works. His eyes lit up and he felt that Shang Zuoyan would definitely like it. It was already 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon when Gu Huiyan finished his filming duties the next day. When he arrived at the airport, it was around 4 o'clock. It rained and the plane was slightly delayed. It was around 5 o'clock when we took off. When we landed in Yunnan, it was already around 8 p.m. or almost 9 p.m. The location of Crystal Courtyard is relatively remote, and it takes nearly an hour to get there by car. So when Gu Huiyan returned to Yongzi village after a long absence, it was already past 10 o'clock in the evening and he had already left for 11 o'clock. Worn out. When we arrived at the place, we saw Gu Huiyan, who was also exhausted. In fact, no matter whether you are traveling or doing something else, what makes you really tired is not when you are playing, but when you are on the road. The plane is really noisy, and flying for a whole day can really kill people. To be honest, if it weren't for being an artist, Gu Huiyan wouldn't really like running around. Everyone should have rested, right? It is now past 10 o'clock in the evening. Sister Xylin usually goes upstairs to rest after 8 o'clock. She takes the lead and the others follow her upstairs very sensibly. After finishing the heartbeat information session at around 10 o'clock, everyone almost took a break. Celebrities are all night owls, so they might not go to bed so early if they are upstairs, but the recording is definitely over. Someone from my company sent me a message this morning, saying that they were planning to hold a reception ceremony for you. Zhang Nuan helped Gu Huiyan get things and said helplessly. Who delayed our flight? There's nothing we can do about it. Gu Huiyan smiled when he heard this. For some reason, he actually felt like he had become Zhang Shuo. Because it seems that on the first day of recording the show Crystal Love Season, Zhang Shuo was late because he was busy with work and his flight was delayed. To be honest, at that time, Gu Huiyan was still a little envious of Zhang Shuo. He was top class. Unexpectedly, it was only a short time ago that he would be here today. Go in secretly, and don't disturb others' rest. Gu Huiyan casually said something to Zhang Nuan, then went in carrying some of his personal clothes. Good. Zhang Nuan nodded. She had been busy with Gu Huiyan all day, and she was also a little tired from traveling. She rubbed her sore shoulders, sorted her things a little, and then took out her phone to read the news. It is said that after Gu Huiyan became famous, she was really exhausted these days. There were endless things to deal with every day. It was really difficult to be the assistant of a popular artist. There were so many messages that Zhang Nuan couldn't bear to take them all. He first picked out some replies that he could reply to, and read down while replying. It was nothing unusual to deal with them one by one, but when she accidentally saw a message, her eyes widened. Walk. Everyone is stupid. That was a message sent to her a few hours ago by a staff member of the same company who was on the set of Crystal Love Season. It said, Teacher Xiaogu's room is temporarily occupied by Shen Qingqing and will be vacated tomorrow. We have arranged a room for him next door. If you come back too late, go directly to the next door. She read the news too late. Gu Huiyan had already entered. It's over, it's over, it's over now. Something will happen as soon as I get back. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Bulletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 142. It was already night, and there were actually no street lights in Yungzi village. There was only one at a distance, and the village was full of stone roads. Gu Huiyan had to take out his phone and turn on the flashlight to walk carefully when walking on such a road. The weather should be very good today. Gu Huiyan can see the stars when he raises his eyes at night. Don't tell me, the sky here is so beautiful, the stars are shining. Gu Huiyan walked with his head lowered for a while and looked up at the stars for a while. He felt quite good. After a while, he arrived at the entrance of the small courtyard. After a long time, Gu Huiyan returned to the crystal courtyard with deep emotion. I still remember that the first time I came here, I carried my suitcase like this. At that time, he was still an unknown amateur. Even the staff of the program thought he was a tourist visiting the neighborhood. When Gu Huiyan left temporarily because of the internet turmoil, he thought he would never have a chance to come back until the end of the show recording. Unexpectedly, the reversal came so quickly. This door of the crystal courtyard really gave Gu Huiyan a feeling of being a world away. I don't know why, but Gu Huiyan, who came by plane after a busy day, felt relaxed and at ease when he came to this door. It was very late, and there were not many staff in the crystal courtyard. They probably all went to rest. There were a few people on duty, but they were all napping nearby. Generally speaking, if you don't record a show at night, nothing will happen. If artists have any problems, they usually go to their own team assistants or something like that, but they don't know how to go to them. Who can help but not feel sleepy at night? Seeing that the staff on duty were sleeping soundly, Gu Huiyan didn't disturb them. He quietly opened the door and went in. He carried his suitcase and went upstairs. Let's go to the room on the second floor where he lives. Gu Huiyan came early for the early recording of the show, so his room was at the innermost part of the second floor, which was a good location. Although it was very late at this time, the lights in several rooms were brightly lit. Except for the unoccupied rooms, the lights in Sisters Island and movie Emperor Su's rooms were turned off. There was no light on in Gu Huiyan's room, but the door was closed tightly. When Gu Huiyan pushed the door in, he felt a little hindered, but not much. He remembered that the door bolt of this room seemed to be broken, but he did not think about the fact that the door might be locked. He entered the room and put down his things and wanted to find a light and turn it on. When it came to turning on the lights, Gu Huiyan couldn't help complaining. The light at the door of his room was broken. Normally, he had to go to the bedside to turn on the light. No one had ever repaired it for him. There were no lights on in the room, and it was completely dark. Maybe he had just come in from the outside, and suddenly entered the darkness from the bright scene. Human eyes cannot see clearly. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan was familiar with the facilities in the room and quickly got on the bed. Because he was too tired, Gu Huiyan thought it would be okay to lie down and rest for a while before turning on the light. Only when Gu Huiyan lay down, he felt that the touch was not right. It seemed that the bed beneath him was not a flat and soft bed, but like, what animal is lying there? Wrong. What a special animal. He is obviously a person. In the dark night, Gu Huiyan felt something moving underneath him. Then, a little head emerged from the quilt, and in the dark night, Shen Qingqing's somewhat confused beautiful eyes looked at Gu Huiyan's eyes. Next moment, ah! A piercing scream came from the room and resounded throughout the small courtyard. It's over, it's over. Downstairs, Gu Huiyan's assistant Zhang Nuan, who rushed in hastily, looked desperate when he heard this voice. Everyone is numb, okay. It's past 11 o'clock. Crystal Courtyard. Guest room on the first floor. The female idol Shen Qingqing, who was wrapped in a shawl and pink pajamas, had a bullied expression on her face and curled up on the sofa, looking very aggrieved. When Zhang Shuo came over after hearing the news, she still grabbed Zhang Shuo's clothes and acted like a victimized kitten. Movie King Su and Sisters Island stood not far away, looking at the scene with a wry smile. Little Yaya Shangzuoyan yawned, hugging Xiongda Xiong with her hands around her chest, and glanced at Shen Qingqing with a slight hint of emotion. Disdainfully, he finally looked at Gu Huiyan with confusion. Gu Huiyan was sitting on the bar rubbing his forehead. Shen Qingqing had just kicked him off the bed, and his head seemed to have hit something. There were no bruises, but it was a little painful. Here, apply it. The mature Sisters Island brought an ice pack to Gu Huiyan from the refrigerator and handed it to him, looking at Gu Huiyan with a look of distress and amusement. Gu Huiyan was gently rubbing the ice pack, and his miserable look was so funny. Puff. Shangzuoyan didn't even hold back and just laughed. To be honest, let alone Gu Huiyan who didn't know how to face Shangzuoyan when he came back, Shangzuoyan didn't know how to face Gu Huiyan even more. It was embarrassing enough that she misunderstood Gu Huiyan that night. During this period, Gu Huiyan was exposed by Crazy Net because of her. When it comes to saying sorry, she is the most sorry. After Era Singer, Gu Huiyan became famous in the past 2 days. Shangzuoyan felt that she couldn't treat Gu Huiyan so casually. She also had a fan support club. So actually when I heard that Gu Huiyan was coming back, Shangzuoyan was still a little confused. I don't know how to get along with Gu Huiyan. However, she never expected that seeing Gu Huiyan again would turn out to be such a funny and famous scene. Kikik. When movie Emperor Su and the others didn't know how to resolve this matter, Shangzuoyan laughed heartlessly. This laughter attracted everyone to watch. Shen Qingqing originally had a victim face, but when Shangzuoyan laughed, she was so angry that she couldn't be like this. In fact, she and Shangzuoyan didn't get along very well, because Shangzuoyan looked down on her. When she debuted in the draft, she did not rely on hard power but on being cute and playful. Later, she relied on bundled marketing with Zhang Shuo. He's popular, and he's also a variety show star. It's strange that a capable female idol like Shang Zhuoyan, who has broken out of the standard of Bangsa girl group, would like her. In fact, there is a chain of discrimination in the industry. Those who act in dramas look down on those who make movies, those who make movies look down on those who make TV series, and those who make TV series look down on those who make variety shows. Shang Zhuoyan is not a member of this discrimination chain, but she definitely has real abilities. Her basic stage skills are quite good, and she is definitely not comparable to someone like Shen Qingqing who relies on hype. She said Charlene was arrogant and well liked in the industry, but not everyone was qualified to be friends with her. Are you laughing so hard? Gu Huiyan also had a haircut after seeing her smile like this. To be honest, Gu Huiyan was still thinking about saying hello to Shang Zhuoyan tomorrow morning to ease the awkward atmosphere. Who would have thought that he would meet someone more special right now? What an embarrassment. But Shang Zhuoyan smiled like this. Gu Huiyan felt much more comfortable. It's just that the two people's eyes looked at each other in mid-air. For some reason, Shang Zhuoyan's smile stopped suddenly, and then the two of them subconsciously avoided each other's eyes. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently, thinking he had broken the ice. No, Xiao Gu, no one told you that your room is occupied. At this time, the actor Su said proactively with a smile and a good old guy expression. Hearing this, Gu Huiyan couldn't help but turn his head and look at Zhang Nuan, who had a sorry expression on his face. It was too late to get off the plane. She had fallen asleep on the road after a tiring day and didn't see the news. This assistant is really poisonous. But to be honest, I can't blame her entirely. Then you can just send a message to change rooms. Why can't you just make a phone call? So staff also have a responsibility. Woo, I was scared to death. You didn't know just now. Shen Qingqing was also tugging on Zhang Shuo's clothes and making noises. No matter how she heard or made that voice, people couldn't help but want to beat her up. All right. Zhang Shuo's expression was calm. He didn't say anything just now. No one knew what his attitude was. In fact, if it were in front of the camera, he would at least give Shen Qingqing some face. After all, they were speculating on CP together. But there was no camera at the moment, so he said very speechlessly. Who told you to sleep in someone else's room? When Shen Qingqing came, it happened to be the time when Gu Huiyan's online rhythm was at its peak. Crystal Love Season originally planned 6 guests. There were 2 small buildings, each with 3 rooms on the second floor. There was exactly 1 room for each of the 6 guests. After Shen Qingqing came, the program team originally wanted to let her live next door, but she felt that living next door was like an outsider. So why should she live next door when everyone lives here? Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan are not here, so can I just live in one of the 2 rooms? She wanted to stay in Pei Jingshu's room, but she didn't dare. The fans of Pei Jingshu's family were too powerful. If they belonged to her, they would be hers. Anyone who dared to get involved would be scolded to death. Her meager number of fans can't compete with the terrifying Wei fans of Pei Jingshu's family. At this time, she decided to go to Gu Huiyan's room. Gu Huiyan's room was in a good location. It happened to be next door to Zhang Shuo's room, which was convenient for her and Zhang Shuo's marketing. Moreover, Gu Huiyan's online pace was very high at that time, and it was not certain whether he would be able to come back. The program team actually didn't know if Gu Huiyan could come back. Mother Zhang couldn't stand this little bastard who would go over and tease her whenever she had nothing to do, so she had to let her stay in Gu Huiyan's room for the time being. Tonight, Shen Qingqing was originally asked to free up the room for Gu Huiyan. After singing with Time Singer, Gu Huiyan's fame, popularity, and traffic have soared. In terms of celebrity status, Shen Qingqing has been able to beat Shen Qingqing several times. Not to mention that Xiao Gu was Zhang Ma's son, but just to talk about his status, Gu Huiyan had no reason to give up his room to Shen Qingqing. But this woman is like a scoundrel. She is used to living in a room and doesn't want to change, so she is evasive and evasive. Tonight, she just said that she hasn't had time to clean up yet and wants to stay there for now. Helpless, the program team had no choice but to temporarily aggrieve Gu Huiyan and go next door to make do with it for the night. Who knows, Zhang Nuan didn't see the news. So the current situation emerged. Shen Qingqing pouted her mouth with a pitiful expression. She looked like this, and those who didn't know it really thought that Gu Huiyan had done something wrong. Maybe there was too much noise, and Mother Zhang came soon. Aha! It was late at night when the fuss was going on. Mother Zhang came over yawning. She was happy after hearing this, but she didn't take it seriously. She just smiled and expressed condolences to Shen Qingqing for a while. As if Shen Qingqing had found a life-saving straw, Shen Qingqing caught Jiang's mother and complained for a while, saying that it scared me to death. Jiang PD, mother, do you know what it feels like when a boy suddenly presses on you while you are asleep in the middle of the night? Woo! Mother Jiang said to herself, of course I don't know. However, she still looked amiable and gently patted Shen Qingqing on the shoulder to comfort her. To be honest, even though this matter was quite tragic for Shen Qingqing, it seemed that sisters Ailan, Shang Zuoyan, Zhang Shuo and actor Su didn't sympathize with her very much. Everyone just stood aside and watched this farce. Gu Huiyan was not comfortable saying anything because he felt that the plot was a bit. What a damn bitch. Okay. After being comforted by Mother Zhang, Shen Qingqing finally stopped crying so much. Shen Qingqing kept saying Mother Zhang is better, making it look like others were treating her badly. But then again, it's funny that no one sympathizes with her despite her misery. She originally thought Zhang Dan was a good person, but after she finally calmed down a bit, Zhang Dan actually said, since everything is fine, go upstairs and pack your things. Shen Qingqing was dumbfounded at that time. What are you packing in the middle of the night? Xiao Gu is back. Didn't I ask you to vacate your room? Zhang Dan looked at Gu Huiyan behind him, who was rubbing the ice pack, and said funny. Look, if you don't leave, he won't have anywhere to live. If you had left early, would this still matter? Then. Shen Qingqing was stunned. In fact, she is quite good looking. Although her eyes are not as big as those of Shang Zuoyan, she is still very beautiful. She has a pretty face with a modern white and thin aesthetic, which is very popular with the audience. It's just that the face at this moment is full of confusion. She never expected that Zhang Dan would ask her to move overnight. Puff. Little Yama Shang Zuoyan was wearing a very loose pink pajamas. Unfortunately, the two brothers Xiang and Daxing still couldn't breathe. She almost laughed out loud when she heard what Zhang Ma said. She knew that Zhang Dan could not be so kind to Shen Qingqing without caring about Gu Huiyan's feelings. Gu Huiyan is the real son, okay. Zhang Dan is a ruthless character who negotiated with so many top celebrities to leave the hospital and continue recording the day after they were poisoned by fungi. Do you expect her to be soft-hearted and feel sorry for your son who has returned home from hard work just because you said a few words? How can it be? Before Gu Huiyan was away, Shen Qingqing could just live in one room. So now that Gu Huiyan is back, and she still doesn't make room, isn't she asking for it? Cough. Actor Su and sisters Ailan also suppressed their laughter. To be honest, they two old seniors didn't even try to comfort Shen Qingqing, so they could tell what she was doing. Woo. It is worth mentioning that Shen Qingqing originally wanted to cry and act cute, but she couldn't let me move her room in the middle of the night. She is a girl after all. But Jiang's mother didn't look down on her at all, and her eyes were a little sharp. She had told her to move, but she had to wait until she moved. What happened now was that the recording of the program ended. If something happened when the computer was turned on, Gu Huiyan, the reputation that was so easy to win back, may have to be controlled by those gangsters again. She wouldn't allow this to happen again. Shen Qingqing was also able to assess the situation. Seeing that the situation was no longer advantageous to her, although she was very reluctant, she planned to go upstairs with runny nose and tears to pack her things and make room for Gu Huayan. When her eyes glanced at Gu Huayan, she couldn't help but snorted. It was all his fault. Why did he come back so suddenly? She had to make room for him. But what surprised her was Gu Huayan actually waved his hand and said, "Forget it, let's move tomorrow. It's already so late. I'll just go next door and make do for one night." This indeed seemed like something Gu Huayan would do. He didn't know what Shen Qingqing was like. He just thought it was a bit cruel to let a girl pack up and move away in the middle of the night. That's what Gu Huayan said, and Zhang Ma didn't insist. She just came over and felt sorry for Gu Huayan again. Shen Qingqing was stunned for a moment. Needless to say, Zhang Ma's technique of slapping a sweet date is really perfect. It was getting late at night, and it was already so late. Everyone had to record a program tomorrow, so Zhang Ma asked everyone to disperse and go to rest quickly. Zhang Shuo didn't feel sorry for his CP Shen Qingqing at all. He turned around and left without even saying hello. It is worth mentioning that when he was leaving the house, he looked into Gu Huayan's eyes and nodded slightly, as if he was kind-hearted. Gu Huayan felt that Zhang Shuo's attitude towards him was obviously different this time. How should I put it, seemed to be equal. Now Gu Huayan seems to be qualified to be treated as an equal by Zhang Shuo. The rest of the people also went upstairs to rest. The actor Su said that he would prepare a few dishes for Gu Huayan's reception ceremony tomorrow, which made Gu Huayan feel quite touched. Before going upstairs, Shang Zuoyan seemed to be hesitant to talk about Gu Huayan. In the end, she probably didn't know where to start, so she didn't say anything. Before Shen Qingqing left, she came over and said to Gu Huayan, Thank you. Although this matter was a bit silly, and Shen Qingqing didn't like Gu Huayan very much, one thing she had to admit was that out of the 6 or 7 people in the room just now, only Gu Huayan actually said a word for her. There are good people in front of the camera, but people behind the camera are just watching. When the room is full of evil people, even if she doesn't like the good person very much, he is the only one worthy of her trust and reliance. Her voice was squeaky. If Shang Zuoyan spoke in this voice, Gu Huayan would definitely say, I'll die for you, but when she spoke like this, you felt as if that was how it should be. It's okay. Gu Huayan waved his hands, rubbed his forehead, and said, Just don't kick someone so hard next time. When he was on the bed, Gu Huayan felt like he was being kicked away. Puff. Shen Qingqing smiled and a blush appeared on her pretty face. She felt that Gu Huayan was quite easy to get along with. She nodded slightly, said hello, and went upstairs. It was very late, and almost everyone had left. However, the mature sister Xylin looked unfazed, sitting next to Gu Huayan and looking at him with a smile. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 143. Evening. It's past midnight. The guest room on the first floor of Crystal Courtyard. Gu Huayan and sister Xylin are still there. My sister was wearing a loose nightgown. The specific material could not be seen clearly. Gu Huayan didn't know much about it and didn't dare to touch it, but it looked pretty good. The pattern on it was the same as that of ink painting. A pair of beautiful legs are gently raised, and the shadow is looming under the skirt, and the charm is beginning to appear. Maybe it was because she finished her skincare at night. Xylin was without makeup at this time, but even so, her facial features were still very recognizable and beautiful. Real beauty is never about the beauty of the skin, but the beauty of the bones. It is not that obvious whether she is barefaced or not. Even if she has big waves, her sister will still give people the charm of a mature woman, which makes people want to stop. Aren't you going to take a rest, Sister Xylin? Gu Huiyan held the ice pack and rubbed his forehead, which was strange. Normally, Xylin is the first one to go to rest. What time is it today? Well, I was woken up, I'm not sleepy anymore. Xylin smiled bitterly. She was the type who usually had a fixed time to rest at night. She could sleep when she went to bed at that time. After that time, she could not fall asleep no matter what. She had already fallen asleep when Gu Huiyan came back. After being awakened by the movement outside, she was completely sleepy now. She was holding a grinder in her hand, as if she was grinding coffee beans, grinding coffee by hand. He also asked Gu Huiyan and said, "Would you like to make you a drink?" Gu Huiyan waved his hand. He wasn't used to drinking coffee, but he was actually more used to drinking tea. So if Su Yuntang hadn't left, he might have asked the actor Su to order some tea. Perhaps because she knew his habits, Xylin didn't ask any more questions. She just walked to the bar to make coffee while asking Gu Huiyan, "Jingshu didn't come back with you?" "Well, she still has work and may have to come back a day late." Speaking of Pei Jingshu, Gu Huiyan was a little helpless. She was so busy that Gu Huiyan didn't expect that she would come back one day later than him. "That's it?" Xylin pursed her lips and smiled. After making coffee and cleaning the tools, she also asked Gu Huiyan, "Have you got a meal yet?" "Didn't eat." Gu Huiyan waved his hand with a bitter look on his face. MD finished his work in the afternoon and rushed to the airport. When he got on the plane, he remembered that he hadn't bought anything to eat. There was in-flight food on the plane, but the in-flight food thing. I understand everything. It was very late when we got off the plane, and I probably forgot about eating because I was too hungry. If Xylin hadn't mentioned it, Gu Huiyan would have forgotten that he didn't have dinner. Now that I mention it. Gugu. There was an unsatisfactory growl from my stomach. Pook. Xylin couldn't help but smile. She gently put down the coffee cup and said with a smile, "Help me make a bowl of rice noodles. I brought them back from the trip today." "No need, what time is it?" Gu Huiyan still wanted to refuse, and the goddess Xylin personally gave him food. Gu Huiyan would always feel a little embarrassed about this kind of thing. "It doesn't matter." Xylin smiled softly, pushed the hairpin on her head slightly, washed her hands, and went straight to boil water. Seeing that Sister Xylin had already taken action quickly, Gu Huiyan stopped hesitating. "Thank you, Sister Xylin." "You're welcome." Her eyebrows were raised slightly, and the goddess sister smiled and said, "We haven't seen you for a few days, why are you so polite? When I called you that day to inquire about clothing styling, we chatted for so long, but I never saw you being so polite." "I've always been polite, right?" Gu Huiyan smiled. In fact, there are times when Gu Huiyan feels that Xylin is pretty good to him. Just talk about Shen Qingqing just now. She was so crying and a girl. Gu Huiyan couldn't bear it. Sister Xylin just sat aside and watched. In the past, Gu Huiyan always thought that his mature sister Xylin was gentle, intellectual, mature, and generous, and he treated these juniors equally. Central air conditioning kind of thing. But today I found out that is not the case. Sister Xylin actually has a preference for him and Shang Xuoyan. Especially him. It was late at night, and everyone went upstairs to rest. Even the staff on duty had gone back to take a nap. Maybe all the cats and dogs in the village were lying down. Sister Xylin is the only one who can cook supper for Gu Huiyan at this time. Gu Huiyan was sitting at the bar, which was the kitchen, and the bar was also a small dining table. The lights in the kitchen were slightly dim, and from Gu Huiyan's perspective, he could just see Sister Xylin's bumpy figure under her nightgown. Sister of this age is when a woman is at her most attractive. She has a very good figure and graceful curves. Some people who attended events before said she has a peach butt. This is so obvious from Gu Huiyan's perspective at this moment. So actually watching beautiful women cooking is also a kind of enjoyment. Gurgling. The water in the pot was boiling and bubbling. Xilan threw the rice noodles in and cooked them. The rice noodles were no better than noodles. They were not easy to cook. They might need to be cooked for a while. During this period, Xilan chopped some onions and minced garlic, found some chili powder and Sichuan pepper powder, and put an appropriate amount into a bowl. Take another small pot, heat a little hot oil, and pour it into the previous bowl. Shishi. The sound of the hot oil mixed with Sichuan peppercorns and chili powder is very pleasant and enjoyable. Carrying such a bowl and walking to the seasoning box, Xilan put half a spoonful of salt, 2 spoons of light soy sauce, a spoonful of dark soy sauce, half a spoonful of oyster sauce, and 2 spoons of vinegar into the bowl. Quantity control is pretty good. It happened that the rice noodles over there had been cooked for a while, so Xilan threw the rapeseed that had been washed in advance into the pot and cooked it together. Rapeseed can be eaten by boiling it in the pot. While cooking rice noodles, Xilan casually chatted with Gu Huiyan. How were the costumes for the performance that day? Did they have the effect you imagined? Gu Huiyan nodded. Of course, you can wear a shark. Giggle, is it that exaggerated? Xilan smiled and said. It feels meaningless these days without you. Did you read a word someone said on the internet? It's that. What? Gu Huiyan was still curious. Xilan, who was cutting something, turned around and smiled gently at him, saying. This family will break up without you. Puff. Gu Huiyan was overjoyed and said. It's not that exaggerated. But it's really such an exaggeration. Without him, almost everyone is doing their own thing. This show has countless scenes in a day. How not? Xilan laughed and chatted with him, saying that before Shen Qingqing and Zhang Shuo came back, they seemed to have said that the traffic had dropped seriously and sponsors wanted to withdraw their funding. There was no guarantee whether the next few episodes would be recorded or not. While talking about Shen Qingqing, Xilan asked Gu Huiyan if she was familiar with her. Then Gu Huiyan must not be familiar with her. It was the first time they met today. Xilan didn't say anything bad about Shen Qingqing. She just smiled and told Gu Huiyan that this girl was very thoughtful. She bought gifts for everyone on the first day and bought Su Yuntang very expensive tea. It sounds like a compliment to you, but inside and outside the words are saying that this little girl is quite thoughtful, which is a bit of a hint. Of course, the main thing is to keep Gu Huiyan and Shen Qingqing at a distance, so as not to follow in Zhang Shuo's footsteps. Look at Zhang Shuo, he can't get rid of her even if he wants to. Gu Huiyan is so popular now, it is really possible for her to pull Gu Huiyan to do marketing together. Gu Huiyan smiled when he heard this. He was really not afraid of this. After all, Zhang Shuo was a single character. He was different. Shen Qingqing dared to get close to him. Do you think those fans who said Pei Ban takes care of CP would scold him to death? She's finished. Besides, speculating on CP also depends on the level. Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan can have Android CP, and Xilan can have Looking to the West CP. That's because both of them are not inferior to Pei Jingshu, so there is competition. Force. But as for Shen Qingqing, how about comparing her to Pei Jingshu, Shang Zuoyan, and Xilan? She deserves it too. In the crystal courtyard late at night, Gu Huiyan and Sister Xilan were chatting about interesting things that had happened recently, and they were full of life. It is worth mentioning that Xilan did not mention the matter between him and Shang Zuoyan. It felt that her sister did not care much about whether he and Shang Zuoyan reconciled. Her sister's focus was only on whether she had an interest in Gu Huiyan. After a while, the rice noodles were cooked. Xylan took the rice noodles and the rapeseed into the mixing bowl, poured some soup on it, and a bowl of family war-damaged version sour soup noodles was created. In the rice noodle bowl, there is a red soup base with a bright layer of oil floating on it, minced onion and garlic floating on top of the rice noodles, and green rapeseed just playing a decorative role. It looks quite good. I also cooked it by following online tutorials. It may not be very authentic, but it's definitely not unpalatable. The elder sister was quite confident. She brought the bowl of rice noodles to Gu Huiyan with her own hands. Although she didn't say it clearly, it was written between the lines. "Hurry up and praise me." Pa bang bang. Gu Huiyan raised his hands and clapped, saying, "It's great that you can do this." "What do you mean? Are you looking down on people?" My sister was immediately happy. She turned around and helped Gu Huiyan get the chopsticks and spoon. "No, actually I think, it's just that Sister Xylan, you don't seem like someone who can do this kind of thing." Gu Huiyan took the chopsticks and spoon from Xylan's hand and wanted to take a sip of the soup with the spoon first. Xylan knew how to cook, and Gu Huiyan knew this because Xylan had baked a cake for them one morning before. The cake was delicious, more authentic than those sold outside, and it was the kind that Gu Huiyan would be willing to spend money on. It's not surprising to Gu Huiyan that you said Xylan can bake. It feels like it fits her image and personality very well. She is clean and gentle, and the scene of making cakes is always very beautiful. But if you ask her to hold the pot and stir fry, wouldn't the filter be a little bit broken? Cooking rice noodles is not as exaggerated as flipping a spoon while cooking, but just now when Xylan peeled garlic, chopped onions, heated a pot and poured oil into the bowl, Gu Huiyan was really surprised. Because in fact, in my impression, except for him, no one in the crystal courtyard would touch such greasy things. It directly poured fuel on everyone. Xylan, who understood what Gu Huiyan meant, smiled and said, "Isn't this what you eat? I think you would like to eat like this." If it were someone else, I would definitely do it differently. She actually wanted to say that if it were anyone else, I wouldn't necessarily make it for him. After all, if you make this kind of rice noodles for Jiangshuo, the oil is so big that it doesn't mean he won't eat it. But she knew that Gu Huiyan would definitely eat it. Gu Huiyan nodded to express his understanding, and looked at Xylan to indicate that I was about to start, and then I planned to eat. "Hey, wait a minute." Just as he was about to eat, Xylan suddenly interrupted him and then took some sesame seeds from behind. "Sprinkle it into the rice noodle bowl." Then he nodded to Gu Huiyan with satisfaction, indicating that he could eat. Gu Huiyan smiled helplessly. What a damn sense of ceremony. Chiliu. He took a sip of the soup first as a sign of respect for Sister Xylan. After finishing the soup, Gu Huiyan started to slurp the rice noodles into his mouth. "Eat slowly, don't burn you." My sister was a little worried when she saw this scene. There are really so many people in this world who are not afraid of being burned. He finished the meal before others took a few bites. If Shang Xuan were here, she would definitely say that Gu Huiyan was not afraid of scalding a dead pig with boiling water. Sister Xylan was more gentle and brought him a glass of water. "Thanks." Gu Huiyan nodded, feeling that the food was quite satisfying. It was when he was looking up to drink water that Gu Huiyan noticed that Sister Xylan had been standing at the bar, just watching him eat. Only then did he realize that something was wrong. "Sister Xylan, don't you want to taste it?" Maybe he was too hungry, and it was too late. Gu Huiyan wanted to finish eating quickly and rest, so he didn't pay attention to anything else. Xylan has been watching over there. She only made one bowl, and he is eating it here while Sister Xylan is watching in front of him. What does this sound like? Forget it. My sister waved her hand gently. She usually eats dinner, but not much. Then after 8 o'clock, she doesn't eat anything, not even fruit, let alone rice noodles drizzled with hot oil. Her life is truly healthy. Let's have a taste. Gu Huiyan picked up some rice noodles with chopsticks, put them on a spoon, and handed them to Xylin. Okay. Xylin didn't refuse too much. In fact, she also wanted to eat it. Who could refuse a bowl of late-night poisoned rice noodles in the middle of the night? At this time, she was standing at the bar. Her position was a bit high, and Gu Huiyan was a bit short outside. Even though Gu Huiyan held up chopsticks and spoons, Xylin still had to bend down to eat. In this position, if she bends down, her hair will still hang down even if it is tied up with hairpins. Her nightgown is very loose, and when she bends down, some of the white and tender skin on her chest will occasionally be exposed. And Gu Huiyan's position was just visible. Fortunately, her sister raised her hand in time to hold the clothes on her chest, which made Gu Huiyan breathe a sigh of relief. Seeing the change in Gu Huiyan's expression, Xylin couldn't help but smile secretly. She didn't care, what big storm has her sister never seen? She just leaned over to the rice noodles and opened her cherry mouth. Gu Huiyan also put the rice noodles to Xylin's mouth sensibly, and after thinking about it, he put it in. Although, maybe they didn't think anything was wrong. But, in fact, from an outsider's perspective, looking at the two of them this way is a bit ambiguous. Ta-ta. I don't know if it was a coincidence, but footsteps sounded at the top of the stairs, followed by the voice of the actor Su, who said, "Why aren't you going to rest so late? Xiaogu, have you not eaten? There is still something in the refrigerator." The actor Su Ben had already gone upstairs to rest, but like Xylin, he was the kind of person who couldn't fall asleep after time. Just when he heard the sound of the range hood downstairs, he thought that Gu Huiyan might be cooking. He had never thought about it, but suddenly he thought that there was leftover beef from lunch in the refrigerator. Isn't this boy Gu Huiyan famous recently? In addition, the actor Su also felt a little feeling sorry for this boy before. So I actually thought, why don't I come down and remind him to express my feelings? He came down. The two of them are actually in love with each other. But he didn't even think of killing him. The first time I came to the restaurant downstairs, what I saw was Xylin is lying on the inside of the bar, while Gu Huiyan is sitting outside the bar, hand-feeding rice noodles to Xylin. At this time, Xylin was wearing a loose silk nightgown. When she bowed, the skirt would stick to her back. From Su Yuntang's perspective, Xylin's figure curve was really amazing. The clothes stick to the back, and the area from waist to hip is really undulating. Therefore, such Xylin, when she lies down to eat Gu Huiyan's rice noodles, will have a quite ambiguous effect on the visual effects of the actor Su. This picture. Those who knew it were that Xylin was eating Gu Huiyan's rice noodles, but those who didn't know thought that the two of them were here, just like a dog in a fly camp. This couple of bitches. Su Yuntang never expected that on the first night after Gu Huiyan came back, he and Xylin would eat rice noodles together, and in such an ambiguous posture. Then, the actor Su was so angry that he felt cold. He felt a rush of blood rush to the back of his head, almost making him faint on the spot. Gu Huiyan and Xylin also noticed Su Yuntang coming downstairs. In fact, they heard the voice when the actor Su was talking when he came downstairs just now. Xylin herself didn't know why. When she heard Su Yuntang's voice, she was startled subconsciously. He hurriedly swallowed the rice noodles into his mouth, then quickly stood up, looked for a tissue from the kitchen and turned around to wipe his mouth. That move. Like stealing food. It's even more like stealing the sun. Originally, the actor Su only saw the two of them eating rice noodles and it was nothing, but Xylin wiped his mouth behind his back like a thief, which made him stupid at the time. Just feel. A green steel helmet was suddenly buckled on his head. Okay. This situation and scene are so familiar. Isn't it more exaggerated than when Gu Huiyan rubbed Xilan's feet last time? You two are. After all, he was still the best actor, Su. He really didn't explode on the spot. After all, people say that people are caught for their dirty work. It's not a big deal if he only saw rice noodles. Oh, I didn't eat at night, so Sister Xilan cooked rice noodles for me. Gu Huiyan actually played a quite pure character in it. He really didn't know anything. After feeding Sister Xilan rice noodles, Su Yuntang went downstairs, and then Sister Xilan stood up suddenly like a thief. Gu Huiyan didn't even know why. Yes, that's right. Xilan was also wondering at this moment, why did she just act like a thief and take a bite openly? Why were she afraid of others finding out? What the hell? But she has already done this, and the actor Su has also noticed it, so actually, that's how the actor Su is feeling right now. It's really me who you bought a watch for. Shivering. The key point was that he looked at Gu Huiyan, who looked like he had done nothing wrong but didn't know how to speak. What's even worse is that Gu Huiyan also asked, "Brother, what did you say was in the refrigerator just now?" The corner of Su Yuntang's mouth twitched. To be honest, he threw the beef in the refrigerator away from the dog and didn't want to give it to Gu Huiyan. But there is no way, the words have already been spoken, it's hard to pretend that you just farted, right? So, he suppressed the jealousy in his heart and almost squeezed out a few words through his teeth. "There's beef for lunch in the refrigerator that you can eat." A familiar fear of being dominated by Gu Huiyan once again enveloped the heart of the actor Su at this moment. Speaking of which, actor Su is really heart-wrenching. He still stood at attention when he was beaten. He is such a quality and well-educated person, I cried to death. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down-to-earth. Author, Buletin Shi Xuan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 144. It is too late. After eating the rice noodles, Gu Huiyan went to bed. Although the room is next to the crystal courtyard, it is actually quite neat and tidy, no different from other hotels outside. After a hearty meal, Gu Huiyan didn't bother to pack his things and fell asleep. This sleep was probably the most solid sleep Gu Huiyan had in recent times. Because during this period of time, I am either busy with the crazy pace of the internet, or I am busy with various tasks, preparing this and that. Although Gu Huiyan has a system, the system currently does not seem to give him the option to strengthen his body. If there is, Gu Huiyan will have an indestructible body or immortality or something. It's a pity that this is an entertainment system, not a system for cultivating immortals. Although he went to bed late, Gu Huiyan woke up not late in the morning. It's not that he set the alarm clock or didn't close the curtains to sunbathe in the sun or something, but was woken up. Do. Every time you move, you hit. Very early in the morning. The sun had just gone to work. Maybe it was around 7 o'clock in the morning. Downstairs, it's called moving every time. When Gu Huiyan was woken up at that time, he thought he had gone back in time. MD used to have a group of old men and women singing and dancing downstairs in his community. They would do various exercises before dawn in the morning, and even more all kinds of things at night. Ghosts cry and wolves howl. It gave Gu Huiyan a huge headache and left a shadow. When he opened his eyes and saw the crystal courtyard, Gu Huiyan's first reaction was, "It shouldn't be. What song was played so early in the morning at the recording site of this show? This is it. Not only are there songs, but also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are also those who count the beats. Aha! Gu Huiyan yawned, rubbed his eyes, and looked impatient. He walked to the curtains, opened them and pushed the window open to look outside. Good guy. No wonder it was noisy early in the morning. Shang Zuoyan was practicing dancing downstairs with her dance teacher, assistant and other staff. Gu Huiyan remembered that Sister Xylin said that Shang Zuoyan would go on tour with the group after participating in Crystal Love season. She has been busy practicing dance recently. When Gu Huiyan was here before, Shang Zuoyan would come to dance practice in the morning as long as it didn't rain, and Gu Huiyan even came to peep one morning. Because the room was occupied by Shen Qingqing yesterday, Gu Huiyan lived in the small courtyard next door to where Shang Zuoyan practiced dancing. It was normal for her to come to practice dancing in the morning. Well. Gu Huiyan sighed silently, looking a little helpless. As long as it was someone other than Shang Zuoyan, Gu Huaqiang, who was already famous now, would have to go out and show off his big name to make the other party go away. What a pity. What a pity. He took his phone and checked the time. It was about 7:40. Although Gu Huiyan was still a little sleepy, Gu Huiyan couldn't fall asleep because of the dynamic music playing downstairs. I simply got up, washed up, and picked 2 pieces of clothing to wear. Speaking of which, in the past few days, I have accepted endorsements from several clothing brands. During the filming, I would more or less give away a few pieces of clothing. Among them, one of the trendy brands gave Gu Huiyan several beautiful pieces of clothing. On the way here, Zhang Nuan asked Gu Huiyan to wear it when recording the show. At the recording site of the show, 11 Lin, Shang Zuoyan, Su Yuntang, and other artists wore very exquisite and beautiful clothes. Gu Huiyan was not popular before, and he wore the same clothes. Isn't it popular now? It has traffic and popularity. Maybe its qualifications are still lower than others, but its status is not bad at all, so it must not fall behind in dressing up. Artist teams also compete. Gu Huiyan also had a lot of face fans because of his exquisite dress on the day of Singer of the Times, so Zhang Nuan even said that he would call a stylist for Gu Huiyan this morning to match and style Gu Huiyan. But it was a pity that he was rejected by Gu Huiyan. For now, let's pick out some clothes. Looking at the large box of clothes, all kinds of strange things, Gu Huiyan had a bit of difficulty choosing. There are indeed some pretty good-looking ones, and Gu Huiyan also likes them, but there are also some unsightly ones, such as a pair of really girly, pink pants. Gu Huiyan was so disgusted that he really couldn't understand the so-called trendy brand aesthetic. There were plenty of clothes, and some of them looked good, but Gu Huiyan didn't really want to wear them. In private, Gu Huiyan was used to being free and comfortable, and he was used to dressing at home and more relaxedly. And it may be a habit he has developed since he was a child. He usually doesn't wear nice-looking new clothes immediately after buying them. He usually saves them for when he needs them. Normally, it's not easy to wash if it gets dirty after eating or other things. So I took a look around. Gu Huiyan actually chose the more familiar pair of big pants and white t-shirts, and finally stepped on his combat boots flip-flops, and walked out of the door carefree. Wearing it like this is not only comfortable and homely, but also contributes system points. Early morning. Crystal Love season starts airing. As soon as the show's live broadcast room opened, countless people rushed in. The number of people online at the same time in the live broadcast room soared. In just a few minutes, it was already hundreds of thousands, and it continues to increase. The barrage even shouted, "I'm coming. Where is my brother? Why don't you show me my brother quickly? Gu Huaqiang, don't call me, I'm cutting the melon." Ah ha ha ha. 2 days ago, Crystal Love Season announced the news of Gu Huiyan's upcoming return on the official account of each platform. After Era Singer, Gu Huiyan became famous. As the biggest gimmick and highlight of the show, Gu Huiyan's return brought an unknown amount of traffic to the show. Starting nearly an hour before the broadcast in the morning, many people had already come to the live broadcast room to start the broadcast. Before the broadcast started, there were already 100,000 plus people online at the same time in the live broadcast room. In the days when Gu Huiyan was not around, the program was not good at all. There was no one to do the work, and there was no fresh program effect. Even if there is, it is completely incomparable to the dense program effect bombing when Gu Huiyan was here. The actor Su Tiantian pretends to be a cup, Sister Xylan plays very wildly everywhere, Shang Zuoyan practices dancing all day without seeing anyone, PD Zhang and Shen Qingqing are too greasy. People everywhere on the internet say, Gu Huiyan, this family will have to break up without you. Therefore, after Gu Huiyan left, many people abandoned the trap one after another. If PD Zhang hadn't come back and relied on his true fans to support him, I don't know if this show could still go on. Now that Gu Huiyan has returned, along with the recent popularity after Singer of the Times, it has directly ignited everyone's enthusiasm. A wave of anticipation fills you up. Look. When the broadcast started, almost all the barrage was calling Gu Huiyan. Xylan and the others were actually already up at the Crystal Courtyard, but the on-site director still had to show the camera to Gu Huiyan first. The small courtyard next door. Gu Huiyan's room. GoPros are installed inside and outside, including the corridors. After all, this is the room where artists live. At this moment, the camera was not shown directly in Gu Huiyan's room, but in the corridor, because it seemed that he hadn't gotten up yet, so the camera was covered. Even so, the barrage was still overwhelming. Why does my brother live next door? Nonsense, let Shen Qingqing's Baiqi take over the room. MD gave my brother a room. My brother's room can also be occupied by that deadbeat. I'll kill you all. Even the barrage didn't feel sorry for Shen Qingqing. Squeak. At this moment, the door to Gu Huiyan's room suddenly opened. The location of the corridor was shot from a side view. The first thing photographed after opening the door was actually Gu Huiyan's feet, because the feet must come out first when going out. Then a funny scene happened. Those were Gu Huiyan's feet wearing his flip-flops, which appeared in the camera for the first time. At that time, the barrage went crazy, and netizens expressed in confusion. No, why don't people see their feet first? The question is, why do I know who this flip-flop is as soon as I see it? The taste is right, the taste is right, it's the internal taste. Ahahaha, although it's embarrassing, but damn, it tastes really good. As expected of my brother. Tears. Yeching is back. The first time they saw the flip-flops, many viewers couldn't help but burst into tears. Really tearful. God knows how excited they were when they saw Gu Huiyan's familiar combat boots. Yes, maybe those flip-flops were very tasteless and not as good as any pair of shoes worn by other artists, but it was this pair of flip-flops that contained all their true feelings for the show and all their feelings for Gu Huiyan. Missing. Crystal Love Season is a show that doesn't feel right without Gu Huiyan. And Gu Huiyan, without his flip-flops and big bitter tea seeds, it would be really weird. How did everyone in Time Singer recognize him as Gu Huiyan? Isn't it just because of his big bitter tea seed? It was at this time. Gu Huiyan opened the door and walked out. Gu Huiyan came into view, still wearing a simple white t-shirt, a pair of very familiar large pants, and his pair of combat boots flip-flops. She didn't do any styling, her hair was smooth, and there wasn't any foundation on her face. It looked like she was barefaced. He even yawned as if he couldn't wake up. With this image in mind, you can hardly associate him with a star artist, let alone the exquisite noble son he was when he was in Time Singer. But it happens. It is this kind of image that many viewers want and like the most. As expected, he put on his shoes and shirt again. A barrage of comments. He really, I cried to death. In fact, since Singer of the Times, Gu Huiyan's image of an exquisite nobleman has exploded on all major social platforms, and the entire internet has been marketing his contrast and his handsomeness. And recently, some of the advertisements, endorsements, etc. that Gu Huiyan has accepted online are all in his exquisite appearance. Therefore, his image in the hearts of many viewers has actually quietly changed. Yes, maybe his behavior is still the familiar Gu Huiyan, whose nickname is Gu Huaqiang and is even more out of the circle than Gu Laolu. But he is also a true star artist. In the established impression of many people, when the word star artist is mentioned, it should be opposed to mediocre. So in fact, when watching Crystal Love season today, many people subconsciously thought whether Gu Huiyan's dress today would be more refined than before, and whether he would become more and more popular like Shang Zuoyan and others. Big. But when they saw the familiar pair of flip-flops, the familiar big pants, and the familiar white t-shirt with English printed on it, they were really in tears. Gu Huiyan without big pants and flip-flops is a war-damaged version of Gu Huiyan. No matter how handsome or refined it is, it's useless. Only when he puts on his boots and jersey can he be the complete body and heyday Gu Huiyan. No matter what version it is, no one can compete with Gu Huiyan like this. Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 91x5. When the system points were awarded to Gu Huiyan was still yawning. Aha, ah. Gu Huiyan was stunned at that time. MD didn't do anything and just gave system points as soon as he appeared on the scene. Are you sure it's not a system glitch? What the hell? Just then, Gu Huiyan glanced at the camera on the wall. He didn't think much about it. He just smiled silly, scratched his head, and waved to the camera. Good morning. Shouted. His silly, naive look, the moment he appeared in front of the camera. A familiar feeling swept over the audience's mind. I just feel like once Gu Huiyan came back in Crystal Love season, everything became internal, okay. Many viewers will have goosebumps. Go out and close the door. Gu Huiyan looked lazy, disheveled, and unable to wake up. But he was holding a garbage bag in his hand, as if it was garbage to be thrown away. Just look at the image of Gu Huiyan, wearing big pants and flip-flops, yawning and going out in the morning as if he couldn't wake up, and carrying a garbage bag. How is this any different from ordinary people who go out to throw away garbage in the morning? You said he is a star? Sorry, that doesn't look like it. Boss CAO would even say, impossible, absolutely impossible. But he is definitely my brother in the eyes of all the viewers. All the comments on the screen are Yeching Hui, which is quite spectacular. Gu Huiyan went all the way downstairs. Do. Every time you move, you hit. At this moment, there is still dynamic music playing downstairs. It is a song that many viewers are familiar with. It belongs to Shang Zuoyan and her group. At that time, many viewers were a little excited when they heard this song, but soon, thinking that Gu Huiyan might have to meet Shang Zuoyan, many viewers were still worried. Because after all, Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan's fried cow dung scandal has been making a lot of noise during this period, the audience will actually be a little embarrassed when they see them, and they will feel that they are having a holiday or something. Gu Huiyan actually didn't know how to face such a situation, and was a little timid when he went downstairs. However, there are some situations that no matter how much you don't want to face them, you still have to face them. So Gu Huiyan bit the bullet and went out. To be honest, Gu Huiyan really regrets that he committed that damn macho thing last night. If he had driven Shen Qingqing here last night, he wouldn't have had to face this damn embarrassment scene. Well, thinking of this, Gu Huiyan sighed. There was no regret in the world about selling medicine. Gu Huiyan might still do that again. Who knows, he is a man. He is a real man. The small building where Gu Huiyan lives is actually facing the courtyard, and Shang Zuoyan and the others are dancing directly facing the small building where Gu Huiyan is. Last time Gu Huiyan peeped at Shang Zuoyan's dancing without being discovered. This time, he was discovered by Shang Zuoyan, her dance teacher, assistant, and others as soon as he came down the stairs. Teacher Xiao Gu. Shang Zuoyan's assistant and dance teacher were quite sensible. The dance teacher stopped temporarily to greet Gu Huiyan with the assistant. Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but stop temporarily to look at Gu Huiyan. Good morning, good morning. Gu Huiyan's current image is like that of a thief. He feels like he can't stand upright in front of Shang Zuoyan, which is quite funny. But should I say it or not? Today's Shang Zuoyan is still as hot as she is every day. A pair of light blue denim shorts paired with a pink vest, a pair of round, slender and voluptuous legs are casually exposed in the air. When dancing, the movements are large, and occasionally you can see some flesh waves, very magnificent. They were dancing just now, and they paused now. Their chests were rising and falling slightly. It was quite hard for the two brothers, Xiong and Daxian. They were strangled tightly all day long and Yazi felt like he couldn't breathe. Just looking at the figure, Shang Zuoyan is a pretty hot girl. And that pretty face is still the same as before, as delicate as a Barbie doll, and the tear moles at the corners of her eyes add a touch of sophistication to the whole face. Because she was dancing, even if the temperature in the early morning was not high, there were still some beads of sweat on Shang Zuoyan's smooth forehead. The sun just fell on her thick hair and forehead, which were dyed in various colors like a bad girl, like it was like giving her a highlighter, making her look particularly dazzling. Gu Huiyan may be at a loss for words, but it feels like Shang Zuoyan at this moment can bring out the man's desire from the bottom of his heart. Gu Huiyan originally greeted Shang Zuoyan's assistant, dance teacher and others, but finally wanted to say good morning to Shang Zuoyan. Shang Zuoyan happened to be looking at him at that moment. However, when the two people's eyes met in mid-air, Gu Huiyan just raised his hand. Shang Zuoyan immediately turned her head away, pouting her mouth slightly, without saying a word, and asked the dance teacher to continue practicing. Jiao. Gu Huiyan held his forehead silently and awkwardly put down the hand that was raised in the air. Well, it's still the same as last night. Why is this ice so difficult to break? Gu Huixin said that fortunately, I was prepared in advance. Before going downstairs, he saw that the express delivery was almost here, so he was not too worried. Seeing that Shang Zuoyan ignored him, he stopped asking for trouble and planned to leave here first and go next door to say hello. To go out, he had to pass through Shang Zuoyan and her dance teacher. When passing by, Gu Huiyan tried his best to pretend not to see Shang Zuoyan and walked with his head down, like an old man. Even though the dancing Shang Zuoyan was very tempting, Gu Huiyan didn't dare to look at it at all. On the other hand, some people in the audience felt a little embarrassed after seeing this scene, and some scoundrels took the opportunity to come out again, saying that Shang Zuoyan was still angry with Gu Huiyan for exploding cow dung, and started to rehash old scores and say that Gu Huiyan had no quality. So much. But just when Gu Huiyan was about to go out, hello. Shang Zuoyan suddenly stopped dancing. Then, he turned around suddenly, pinched Liu's waist, looked in Gu Huiyan's direction, and asked, "What's for breakfast?" Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 145. Early morning. Next door to Crystal Courtyard. Dudu. Dynamic music is still playing continuously on the Bluetooth speaker. Before the dance teacher could stop her movements, Shang Zuoyan had already followed the movements and made a gorgeous turn, pinched her waist and looked in the direction of Gu Huiyan. Who said Shang Zuoyan doesn't want to deal with Gu Huiyan? I have long said that Shang Zuoyan is angry with Gu Huiyan for not replying to the heartbeat message, not because of the cow dung. Actually, they have the best relationship on this show. So many people are pressuring them so much that I thought it would be awkward for them to meet. Just now, many little black people were still crazy about the rhythm, saying that Shang Zuoyan was still angry with Gu Huiyan for frying cow dung, and she was really thinking about going online. Next moment, Shang Zuoyan slapped them in the face with just one sentence. With this move, many viewers found it quite satisfying. At this time, Gu Huiyan's back was turned to Shang Xuan, and he was holding a green garbage bag in his hand. That image was definitely not a good one. To be honest, when Shang Xuan spoke just now, Gu Huiyan didn't think it was him who called him, so he didn't dare to look back, for fear that Shang Xuan was not calling him and he would be embarrassed when he turned around. But after a few seconds, no one answered Shang Xuan. Gu Huiyan secretly looked back. It didn't matter at this glance, he found that Shang Xuan, dance teacher and assistant were all looking at him. So, you told him, right? Gu Huiyan was still not sure, so he pointed at his nose and said, "You, talk to me." He was a little surprised, because last night he and Shang Xuan looked at each other, and Shang Xuan immediately stopped laughing. It was the same situation again this morning, as if she didn't want to talk to him. How could you make Gu Huiyan think that she was talking to him just now? Then why should I face the air? Shang Xuan pouted her mouth with an arrogant expression. Every time he looks at Shang Xuan, Gu Huiyan can't help but admire her figure. She is definitely a YYDS in the fat world. The forewords front and back are best reflected in her body. Pei Jingshu's figure is actually a bit skinny. Her body shape is the same as her face. She is soft and weak and not offensive, but she always has a sense of weakness that makes people pity her. Sister Xylin has a moderate figure, with all the places that should be fleshy. She is relatively well proportioned and focuses on curvy figures. As for Shang Xuan, based on Sister Xylin, she is even more explosive. To be precise, it's hotter. At this moment, the sun is shining down. Do you dare to think that there is some shadow on Seong Dakshan Er's broad figure? Also, because she was sweating from dancing, the position of Shang Xuan's neck is actually somewhat reflective. At this moment, Shang Xuan's image is really like a Barbie doll appearing in front of you, absolutely amazing. Gu Huiyan didn't dare to appreciate Shang Xuan's figure. He just grinned and asked innocently, "Then what do you want to eat?" Gu Huiyan understood what Shang Xuan said, saying that he wanted to eat with him. The breakfast he eats is usually different from other guests. Her bangs were gently drooped to cover part of her forehead, making Shang Xuan's face look very small. The tear marks at the corners of her eyes were like the finishing touch. She pinched Liu's waist with one hand, her chest rose and fell slightly, and she lowered her head slightly when facing Gu Huiyan's gaze. Pouting her little mouth and saying softly, I will eat whatever you do." The words fell. Oh! Some netizens started to cheer. The Android CP that gradually died due to the pay ban takes care of CP fire began to come back to life again. Feel. At this moment, Shang Xuan and Gu Huiyan were also a little bit embarrassed. During this period of time, you said that the most uncomfortable thing was actually not Gu Huiyan, but Shang Xuan. She never expected that what happened that day would be brought to such an extent, let alone that she would almost destroy Gu Huiyan. That day when she and Sister Xylin went to play in Shuanglang, she heard that it was Gu Huiyan who was talking to Xylin on video, but she didn't dare to point it out. She was afraid of embarrassment, and she was even more afraid that Gu Huiyan would blame her. When she saw Gu Huiyan, it wasn't that she didn't want to talk to him. On the one hand, she also felt that the rhythm of the internet made the two of them so awkward. She was afraid that she would open her mouth, but Gu Huiyan didn't want to pay attention to her because of that. On the other hand, it was also because of the heartwarming message that night. She clearly felt that Gu Huiyan liked her, so why did Gu Huiyan send her heartwarming message to Pei Jingshu? On-time singer, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu also seemed to have been officially announced. Because of this, Shang Xuan felt more and more embarrassed that day. I just couldn't bear to talk to Gu Huiyan. Anyone who has confessed his love knows that after the other party rejects it, he or she can no longer be friends and can only be a pure dear person. Anyone who makes friends is either keeping a spare tire or fishing. She was very happy when Gu Huiyan came back. She didn't sleep last night, waiting for Gu Huiyan to come back. She was the first to come downstairs when she heard any noise. When she saw Gu Huiyan, she found it quite funny to see his miserable look, but when the two of them looked at each other, it just felt like there is something lying between the two people, making the distance between them as wide as the galaxy and insurmountable. This will make Shang Xuan very uncomfortable. A good friend suddenly became a stranger, that feeling. Like a lump in the throat, like a thorn in the back. Shang Xuan is a girl who is very playful and courageous. Even she would be at a loss when faced with such a situation. This morning, she actually wanted to be brave, but she still didn't know how to speak when she saw Gu Huiyan. After thinking for a long time, when Gu Huiyan was about to go out, he mustered up the courage to call him. She still remembered that on the morning of the fried cow dung, she was hungry because she was waiting for Gu Huiyan to get up and wanted to have breakfast with him. Today he came back and got up early, so the topic of breakfast naturally appeared in Shang Zhouyan's mind. It was really just impulsive, I just said what I wanted to say. In fact, Shang Xuan regretted it the moment she said it and wanted to take it back. But what surprised her was that Gu Huiyan's attitude seemed quite good. It felt familiar to her. It is definitely an exaggeration to say that there is no distance at all and the situation has returned to the same state as before, but it can still be regarded as the distance between the galaxy has gradually shrunk to the distance between the sea. Let me go take a look and do something. Gu Huiyan grinned. At this time, he no longer looked sleepy as before, he was already awake. He smiled silly and naively, but it was a familiar face. At some point, Shang Xuan's hands were clasped behind her back. The corners of her mouth unconsciously raised slightly, and she nodded and said, "Then you are ready to call me." "Okay." Gu Huiyan nodded and pointed in the direction outside the door. "Then, I'll go first." The sunshine in Yunnan is always very blazing, so bright that it makes people blind. Perhaps Shang Xuan knows very well that because of Pei Jingshu, she and Gu Huiyan will only be friendships in the future. But it is definitely the most precious one among all her friendships. The barrage floated over a hey, and many viewers couldn't help but smile a little bit when they saw the two of them like this. Gu Huiyan is such a talented guy, he has a good rapport with everyone. He and Shang Xuan have always been enemies before, but now they suddenly stop talking, and they are inexplicably a little bit annoying. In this wave, Android CP is starting to make moves again. Go out. Gu Huiyan went straight to the next door. The early morning is actually relatively refreshing. No matter how high the summer temperature is here in Yunnan, it is definitely not as good as that place where the highest temperature is over 40 degrees Celsius, which is like an oven. Over at the Crystal Courtyard, Xylin and Zhang Shuo have already gotten up. The actor Su went out for morning exercises early and hasn't come back yet. Shen Qingqing was sitting next to Zhang Shuo, making cereal. When she saw Gu Huiyan, she waved her little hands enthusiastically and said in a cooing voice, "Good morning, Mr. Gu." She wore two very cute braids today, but maybe her hair wasn't that thick, which was far worse than Shang Xuan's braids. The clothes she wore were quite spicy, shorts and a tube top. Her legs were white, long, and thin, but the pair of A's were a little too expensive. Her appearance is actually that kind of young aesthetics. It looks very young, very white and tender. But how to say? Nothing stands out, whether it's appearance, figure, or outfit, there's nothing recognizable about it. Look at Shang Xuan, her figure can be called luxurious. The two brothers Xiong Daxiang and Er Xiong are definitely her personal bodyguards. At first glance, any man will have to linger on her. Her dressing style is ever-changing, and she likes colorful clothes. The recent outfits she wears are just like her daily outfits. She has a doll-like face, Sometimes her makeup is a bit weird, and her hairstyle is the same every day, which is perfect. The ever-changing girl. Pei Jingshu's face is just crazy. Although her temperament is that of a soft and weak Jiangnan woman, her high coolness is just the opposite of her weakness, so people don't think she needs anyone to rely on. Her dressing style is on the plain and elegant side, and her skirts are usually green and white slim skirts, which match her temperament very well. She has the sense of being a lady, a proper princess dress in white moonlight. Needless to say, Sister Xylan, a sister is a sister, with a face full of exotic charm and a sense of high-end. After all, she is a goddess who has dominated the red carpets of domestic entertainment for many years. She has the same temperament and her dressing style is more big name. She belongs to the type that is not cheap at first glance. However, her sister often has some tips on how to dress. Clips, headbands, waistbands, etc., it feels very good. Each of the three women has their own flavor, each has its own outstanding points, and the route they take is very clear. But Shen Qingqing is a little different. You want to get away from Pei Jingshu's feminine style, but you also like to wear very sexy clothes. You want to follow Charlene Shang's hot girl style, but you don't have the figure. I don't want to follow Sister Xylan's style. That sister's style is not something Bai Yashao with this sweet line can just imitate if she wants. This image of her. It feels a bit stringy. Mixed up. Yes, maybe her smile is quite sweet. It would be nice if she adopts the sweet girl style. She is also coquettish and loves to act coquettishly. But unfortunately, Gu Huiyan doesn't like that kind of dead trap. So, in fact, it was a bit uncomfortable to be pinched by her when we first met. Hello. Gu Huiyan also endured it, and felt a little sympathetic to Zhang Shuo. Before he came here, he heard that Shen Qingqing was clinging to Zhang Shuo all day long. It's really hard for Zhang Shuo to bear such a stubborn person who gauges in your ears all day long. Morning. When Gu Huiyan passed by, Zhang Shuo and Sister Xylan would also greet him. To be honest, when Gu Huiyan appeared wearing big pants and flip-flops, not to mention the audience, even Sister Xylan and Zhang Shuo felt right about it. Son. Although PD Zhang often calls Gu Huiyan a bumpkin, he has to say that Gu Huiyan's aesthetics of violence have been engraved in the DNA of Crystal Love Season and there is really no way to erase it. What are you doing? Sister Xylan was baking a cake. She was thinking that Gu Huiyan had just come back to make some cakes for him, but she didn't expect that after Gu Huiyan came in, he went straight to the trash can in the room and grabbed the garbage bag. I'll throw away the trash. Gu Huiyan said casually. These trash cans are almost full. In fact, when Gu Huiyan came back last night, he saw that the trash cans in both the room and the kitchen were almost halfway full. In fact, most households have to empty trash cans almost once a day. Otherwise, garbage will change the smell over time, making the whole home smell like garbage. Over time, it will also affect people's breathing trachea. When Gu Huiyan was around, he would usually pick up the trash and throw it away when he had nothing to do. He has been away recently. Which of these celebrities seems to know how to throw away trash? Actor Su is quite stylish, and he cooks in the kitchen all day long, but is throwing out garbage something he would do? That's not in line with the character. That is to say, Sister Xylan will throw it away occasionally when she sees it, but most of the time she doesn't notice it. As for PD Zhang, Shang Zuoyan, and Shen Qingqing. This actually goes without saying, right? In short, when Gu Huiyan is away, usually someone will notice that the trash can is really full and throw it away. Most of the time, the staff will help clean it up when they are away. At this moment, Gu Huiyan throws away garbage when he comes up, which really resonates with many viewers. The barrage keeps flashing. I can only say that he must be my brother. It feels like Gu Huiyan is really here to live here, and the others are just here to record the show. You can't say that others don't come here to live. Maybe people throw away garbage in their daily lives? Haha, there's nothing wrong with that either. In fact, it may be that the lifestyle is different. Many celebrities, especially first-line celebrities like Su Yuntang, always have nannies at home when they are at home. When did they need to do this kind of household chores themselves? My aunt must have taken care of it. People can afford this money. But in the daily life of most ordinary people, it is absolutely impossible to just hire an aunt. Not everyone's income level reaches that level. Firewood, rice, oil, salt, sauce, vinegar, and tea are the main theme of most people's lives. They have to worry about all the trivial matters at home. It's like taking out the trash. Yes, you don't want to care about it, but can you care about it? If you don't throw it away, it will stink, rot, and make you sick to death. If you want to improve your quality of life, these are things you need to pay attention to. And Gu Huiyan's image is very similar to how they look in daily life. This will make the audience very comfortable to watch. Therefore, ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 91x5. System points were also given to Gu Huiyan in a timely manner. To be honest, Gu Huiyan really likes recording shows. He can earn system points by doing whatever he wants. Hee. Xilan smiled softly and looked at Gu Huiyan, who was cleaning up the garbage. She felt very at ease. Even Zhang Shuo couldn't help but look at Gu Huiyan with admiration. To be honest, in his eyes, Gu Huiyan was already famous, but a young artist who was already famous could still pay attention to such trivial matters as throwing away garbage. You just feel that this person is extraordinary. Wow! Shen Qingqing praised Gu Huiyan and said, "Teacher Xiao Gu is really a good family man. In fact, a girl like Shen Qingqing should be very popular in many places, because she never speaks ill of you and always praises you. Maybe it's just that the guests in Crystal Courtyard don't like this, and she would definitely be prosperous in other places. You can be a good family man just by throwing away the trash." Gu Huiyan smiled when he heard this. Without raising his head, he picked up the trash and said casually, "You are so easy to lie." As soon as these words came out, puff. Ha. Many viewers burst into laughter immediately, and everyone expressed, "No, Gu Huiyan, I'm having breakfast, can you stop making me laugh? The boss was drinking soy milk just now." When he heard this, he sprayed it all over the table. "I squirted all over my pants. I sprayed all over the sofa. Labor sprayed all over the bed. How can you drive on this broken road?" Puff. Both Xilan and Zhang Shuo couldn't help laughing, feeling that Gu Huiyan's retort was very appropriate. In fact, Shen Qingqing's voice sounds quite comfortable when you first listen to it. After all, she is coquettish and coquettish. People say that girls who can act coquettishly have the best luck. Isn't that what it means? There's so much to listen to. It's so annoying. Especially Zhang Shuo, God knows how devastated he is these days when Shen Qingqing keeps saying wow 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 in his ears all day long. The key is to say it in front of the camera. He's not that kind of person who likes to quarrel with others. And now Gu Huiyan said something back to Shen Qingqing, which made people feel really good. It was also the first time that Zhang Shuo looked at Gu Huiyan, a country bumpkin, and found him quite pleasing to the eye. At this moment, he was thinking, why didn't I realize before that this kid was so handsome? Shen Qingqing's little mouth was pouted, and she glared at Gu Huiyan with an expression of "I want to coax when I'm angry." What I knew was that this was her style, but what I didn't know was that she thought she was Gu Huiyan's girlfriend and Gu Huiyan made her angry. By the way, last night, because Gu Huiyan was the only good person, Shen Qingqing thought he was good. As a result, one sentence this morning almost told her that she was autistic. She said to herself that indeed, men know people, faces but not hearts. I gave you a sweet date last night, and I will give you a slap today. Snort. Scumbag. Hitui. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 146. Gu Huiyan's character never likes to spoil anyone. That is to say, I knew in advance that Shen Qingqing liked to pinch in daily life. Shang Zuoyan was poisoned by fungus and went to the hospital and pinched Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan said, "I'll die with you." Shang Zuoyan was so angry that she was autistic, and she hasn't been cheated on since then. "Okay, if you have nothing to do, help me collect the garbage." Seeing Shen Qingqing pinching her waist and puffing out her cheeks with an angry expression, Gu Huiyan didn't try to coax him and just said with a smile, "Humph, I don't want to help you." Shen Qingqing snorted, turned away, and ran to Zhang Shuo for comfort. She kept saying Zhang Shuo Geiji is good. Zhang Shuo. If you have nothing to do, go upstairs, clean up the room, and move out quickly. Maybe it was because of Shen Qingqing's fault, Zhang Shuo couldn't help but say. In fact, Shen Qingqing should have moved last night, but this morning she still looked not in a hurry. Gu Huiyan had forgotten about it, but Zhang Shuo was unexpectedly kind. Ah! Shen Qingqing almost exploded on the spot, looking at Zhang Shuo with an incredible look, as if saying there is no love between us. Zhang Shuo's face was expressionless. He even wanted to say that there was no love between us in the first place, so it was just pure dogskin plaster that stuck together. Okay. Giggle. Xylin was giggling on the edge. Shen Qingqing thought Xylin was going to say a nice word for her, but who knew that Xylin actually said, "The cake is almost baked. Come on, Qingqing. We'll wait for you to come down and eat together. After all, she is a red carpet goddess, and my sister's rank is high." Shen Qingqing's expression at that time was like a habit of puffing up her cheeks like a goldfish when she was angry. Now her cheeks were so big that they were like two balloons. Gu Huiyan wanted to find a needle to prick her. "Ahaha!" the audience expressed. "Although she is very pitiful, but, ahaha, so funny. You damn boy, hurry up and make room for my brother. You are not worthy of being my brother's bed-warming maid." The current version of Shen Qingqing is no longer T0. When Shen Qingqing first debuted, clip sounds and bubble sounds were very popular. At that time, online game sites that featured such sounds charged high fees. In the original version, Shen Qingqing was also a perfect T0. Unfortunately, as the versions changed, clip sound has long been outdated, and her style is not easy to change, so she slowly began to be disliked by the fickle netizens. It's not appropriate to say she dislikes her. Everyone is making fun of her and thinks it's quite fun to criticize her. Shen Qingqing is different from Shang Zuoyan. If Shang Zuoyan is angry with Gu Huiyan, everyone will definitely feel sorry for Shang Zuoyan and then criticize Gu Huiyan. Snort. With a grunt, Shen Qingqing also knew that it would be impossible to move today. Gu Huiyan's current popularity was beyond her reach. So I had to go upstairs to clean up the room. Gu Huiyan also gathered it up and went to throw away the garbage. It is worth mentioning that when Gu Huiyan went out, his follow-up teacher also followed him out. "Hey, teacher PD." When Gu Huiyan saw the teacher who was following him, he sighed and couldn't help but raise his hand to say hello and said with a smile, "Miss me?" Camera teacher. To be honest, he wanted to say that he did miss Gu Huiyan, but recalling the fear of being dominated by Gu Huiyan. "Well, I want to give Grandmolly a big hammer. Roll rough." Ahahaha. The audience laughed like crazy, and the barrage slowly passed by. When he heard Gu Huiyan's words, The camera teacher's lens shook a few times. Camera teacher, it feels familiar again. Camera teacher, I miss you so much. You'd better never come back. The barrage was filled with laughter, and everyone has heard about the 10086 plus entanglements that have to be said between Gu Huiyan and his camera teacher in Crystal Love Season. Throwing away garbage is not very clean, and the trash cans in the village are not that exquisite, so the director did not give the camera to Gu Huiyan at this time, but temporarily gave it to others. Stepping on his combat boots flip-flops, Gu Huiyan walked leisurely on the stone road in the village. He came back just in time. It rained yesterday, and the weather today is quite good. The sun is dazzling and the sky is bright. Very blue. When throwing away garbage, Gu Huiyan saw two familiar figures at the intersection. He took a closer look and looked, weren't they Ayao and his brother Xiao Awan? Hey! Gu Huiyan waved and said hello. He was a very enthusiastic person. When he saw friends, villagers, etc. on the road, he would greet them almost as long as they looked at each other. A proper social gangster. Brother Xiao Gu. After singing Reverse War last time, in Xiao Awan's eyes, Gu Huiyan was already a god figure. When he saw Gu Huiyan, he was so excited that he trotted over. Gu Huiyan knelt down and picked him up. This kid was not actually fat. He was only 6 or 70 pounds in 4th or 5th grade. Gu Huiyan still had some strength. What are you going to do? Just now he saw Ayao and his younger brother carrying bamboo baskets to the fields. He was still curious and thought they were going to the mountains to collect mushrooms again. Ayao smiled bitterly and started chatting with Gu Huiyan. At this time, not far away, actor Su just returned from his morning exercise. From a distance, he saw Gu Huiyan holding a child and chatting with the villagers. At that time, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and he subconsciously planned to turn around and change the way to avoid running into Gu Huiyan. What happened to MD last night still affects him mentally. These days, he actually wanted to get closer to Xylan while Gu Huiyan was away, but unfortunately, after Gu Huiyan left, Xylan went out to play every day and ran around. People who leave early and come back late, sometimes come back at night, and some days I don't see anyone all day long. The crux of the matter is that Xylan didn't ask him to go play with her, she just brought her own staff, and occasionally Shang's Huiyan. He did say to go with her a few times, but whenever he mentioned it, Xylan I just said that I was tired from playing and planned to take a rest, so I won't go out today. Then I hid on the balcony upstairs and read a book. It made him very helpless. By the way, he and Xylan have been old friends for many years, but the current relationship is actually not very good and he knows this. But the problem is, when Gu Huiyan came back last night, why did Xylan have sex with him so late at night? Why did they just eat a bowl of noodles together? The scene was so ambiguous. Xylan has never taken the initiative to sleep with him. Especially when Xylan saw him last night, she stood up like a thief, which made the young actor Su's heart seem to have been torn by a storm. Originally, he didn't have any hostility towards Gu Huiyan. It's not easy for this kid these days, and he still feels a little sorry for him. But after last night, the actor Su was so disgusted with him. Speaking of last night, he really regretted it. Why didn't he go upstairs without checking whether Xylan left? Why give Xylan and Gu Huiyan a chance to be alone together? How careless. He was just about to leave. Brother. Gu Huiyan happened to see him, and the enthusiastic little Gu simply raised his hand to say hello. Jiao. The actor Su Mo held his forehead. He and Gu Huiyan were surrounded by followed, so why don't you just say hello to them in front of the camera? After all, he is also the actor. Su Yuntang turned around quickly, and the expression on his face changed from disgusting to mild in just 1 second. People say that you can enter the drama in 1 second. Why did you come out so early? He asked. Oh, I take out the trash. Gu Huiyan had already thrown the garbage into the trash can, and had just chatted with a Yao for a while. Gu Huiyan simply put down little Yun so as not to delay their work. Bye bye, little brother Gu. Bye bye. After saying goodbye to each other, Su Yuntang just returned from morning exercises, and Gu Huiyan walked back with him. On the way back, Su Yuntang chatted with Gu Huiyan about recent events, and Gu Huiyan replied with a smile. The two of them really felt a bit. It was a lot of fun talking. However, when he came to the door, Gu Huiyan said in praise. Brother, the beef you cooked yesterday was pretty good. It was quite delicious. As soon as these words came out, the actor Su's expression almost became tense. Return to the small courtyard. Why are you guys back together? Xylin was still curious, feeling that Su Yuntang didn't look like someone who would come back with Gu Huiyan. We met on the road. Gu Huiyan said hello and entered the kitchen. Xylin smiled, feeling that something was wrong with Su Yuntang's expression, but recalling what happened last night, she felt a little embarrassed to be around Xylin. Actor Su didn't say anything. He said hello and went upstairs to wash up and change clothes. In the kitchen, Xylin had already baked the cake. Zhang Shuo tasted a small piece and nodded in approval. Shen Qingqing had just finished cleaning up her room, and she was a lot more exaggerated, praising the cake Xylin baked with wow, wow, wow. But I didn't eat much. Gu Huiyan was more down to earth. He took a bite and thought it was delicious, and then, oh, show off a big chunk in one bite? Eat slowly, don't choke. Xylin was amused by him. But obviously, Gu Huaqiang can't just eat some cake for breakfast. He originally wanted to make hand cakes. There was also hand cake crust in the refrigerator that he bought when he left. He bought a lot. He didn't eat much that day, but when he was looking for eggs, he happened to see it. There is a lot of rice in the rice cooker. When did you get this rice? Seeing so much leftover rice, Gu Huiyan was still a little confused. Oh, this was steamed last night. Siren said. I thought you were coming back, so I steamed some more. But if you didn't come back, no one would eat it. The guests at Crystal Courtyard actually ate relatively little for dinner, let alone the staple food, and the pot of rice was barely touched. That is to say, when Gu Huiyan was around, he kept showing off bowl after bowl. It is worth mentioning that this pot of rice was specially steamed by the actor Su for Gu Huiyan. Okay, let's fry some rice. Gu Huiyan was happy to save trouble. After all, he hadn't eaten egg fried rice for a while. Eat fried rice in the morning. Xylin smiled bitterly and said that although she knew that Gu Huiyan's breakfast was always different, wouldn't eating fried rice in the morning be a bit too over the top? Gu Huiyan replied calmly. I usually eat it in the morning. As soon as these words came out, Xylin didn't know how to refute. Ha ha. The audience also laughed, and everyone expressed. As expected of you, Gu Huaqiang, you are still a natural person. You can always trust Gu Huiyan's breakfast. Speaking of which, wouldn't it be difficult to digest if you eat fried rice with eggs in the morning? It depends on the person. I think office workers need to eat something in the morning, otherwise they won't have the energy to work. Ding, the host's grounding energy has been exposed, and the points are at 91x5. How do you say fried rice? It may be true that many people don't eat it in the morning because rice is a hard staple food, just like steamed buns. Have you ever seen anyone eating steamed buns in the morning? At most, it's just a meal. But this is when going out to eat. If you are at home, you must consider the actual situation. Take the pot of rice in front of Gu Huiyan, for example. It was steamed last night. No one ate it until this morning. It was an overnight meal and no one put it in the refrigerator. The weather has been hot these 2 days. You may not come back when you go out at noon, and you may not be able to eat it at night. Yes, there must be no egg fried rice sellers outside in the morning. Those who sell egg fried rice basically don't use overnight rice, they are all freshly steamed, which is different from Gu Huiyan's situation. Besides, who says you can't have egg fried rice in the morning? When Gu Huiyan was a child, he always ate it in the morning, but it might vary from person to person. Alright. My sister gave a wry smile and said that although it was unexpected, it did look like Gu Huiyan's formula. Not far away, PD Zhang held his forehead silently and pretended not to notice. In fact, when he met Gu Huiyan on this show, he once thought that the hot pot noodles that Gu Huiyan made were exaggerated. But I didn't expect. In the following days, Gu Huiyan became more and more exaggerated day by day. Normally he wouldn't touch carbohydrates, but Gu Huiyan just made fried rice with eggs in the morning. Do you want to eat? Gu Huiyan found a few eggs from the cabinet and some vegetables. While searching, I also asked Sister Xylin and Zhangshuo. By the way, since the guests got poisoned by eating fungi, the vegetable supply provided by the program team is really great. Basically, they have everything they need. Just say that in this refrigerator, there are carrots, beans, tomatoes, eggs, anyway, there is everything you need. Gu Huiyan thought for a while and simply took out a few tomatoes from it, planning to make tomato and egg fried rice. Let me eat some, Xylin said with a smile. She used to always say she wouldn't eat if she didn't want to, but in the end, Gu Huiyan didn't eat enough every time, so she just stopped pretending now. Zhang Shuo must have shook his head and refused to eat. Then Shen Qingqing, who had been packing things with his assistant and not paying attention to the lecture, blinked and asked. What are you doing? What do you want to eat? She really looks like she wants to get involved in everything. Egg fried rice. Gu Huiyan asked. Want to eat? Well. Shen Qingqing subconsciously wanted to ask for something to eat, but her eyes quickly caught sight of Zhangshuo, so she said a little pretentiously. Brother Zhangshuo, do you want to eat? If he eats, I will eat a little. Zhangshuo's mouth twitched. Then don't eat it? Gu Huiyan turned around and went to wash the tomatoes. Shen Qingqing pouted her little mouth. Zhangshuo refused to eat after fussing for a long time. Fortunately, she still wanted to eat some. Pattering. Turning on the faucet, Gu Huiyan briefly cleaned the surface of the tomatoes, then placed them on the chopping board, removed the heads of the tomatoes, and then cut the tomatoes into small pieces for later use. Find some green onions, overlap them and cut them into small pieces. This is almost the preparation before frying, it's really simple. After preparing these, Gu Huiyan directly heated the oil in the pan, added the eggs, stir-fried, and set aside. Wow! While he was operating here, Shen Qingqing came over at some point, stuck out his little head, and said in a cooing voice. I have long heard that teacher Xiaogu is versatile and good at cooking. I really learned a lot today. Gu Huiyan choked her in the morning, but she still seemed to have lost her memory. Gu Huiyan didn't chase her away either. If there was someone by your side who praised you all the time while cooking, there was really no need to chase her away. They said you wouldn't hit someone with a smile on your face. But as for Shen Qingqing, she is indeed a bit too pretentious. She just wanted to watch, but she took out her mobile phone and took a selfie, using Gu Huiyan as the background. In the selfie on her mobile phone, she shrugged her bony shoulders, blinked her eyes and stuck out her tongue in a heart-to-heart gesture. In the background was Gu Huiyan, who was frying rice. This picture actually looks a bit ambiguous. It's like the kind of pictures that girls post in their friends' circles of their boyfriends making breakfast for them. And she often secretly took photos like this with Zhangshuo. If you go to her Weibo now, you can see a lot of photos she secretly took with Zhangshuo after she came to Crystal Love Season. For example, when Zhangshuo plays the guitar, she takes a selfie with the caption, "Idol plays guitar so handsome." When Zhangshuo was having a meal, She wanted to take a picture with the caption, "Who in the family knows what it's like to eat with an idol?" Her fans watched it with gusto. After all, she has been marketing the character of chasing stars and becoming stars, but some passers-by found it a bit unpleasant. Especially Zhang Shuo's fans, they have been scolding her recently and scolding her for showing her face. At this moment, she blatantly wanted to rub against Gu Huayan again. Some fans couldn't bear it any longer and expressed, "Shen Qingqing, can you please go away? I really want to get her copywriting for taking this photo. I must say that teacher Xiaogu's fried rice is so delicious that you won't be able to eat anything. You green tea, get out of here. How dare you secretly take photos of Xiaogu when my sister Pei is not here? I'm used to you. My family, please help me." There are 3 pairs of CPS related to Gu Huayan in Crystal Love Season, Android CP, Full of Hope CP, and Pei Ban Taking Care CP. These 3 couples are actually quite interesting. Although they often criticize each other, there are rarely scenes of one of them looking down on the other. Because after all, no matter whether it is Shang Zuoyan, Pei Jingshu, or Xilin, the 3 female celebrities are comparable in terms of figure, appearance, fame, and traffic, and no one is worse than the other. Even Pei Ban Takes Care of CP, which became popular because Gu Huayan sang for Pei Jingshu, did not say that the other 2 couples were completely killed in this program. It is always a wildfire that cannot be burned out and spring breeze blows. But as for Shen Qingqing, if she wants to meet Gu Huayan and have a relationship with Gu Huayan, she is actually a bit overestimating her capabilities. Xilin watched this scene from a distance, with a momentary displeasure in her eyes. She had hinted to Gu Huayan last night to be careful about Shen Qingqing's porcelain, but she didn't expect that this woman would take Gu Huayan for tea so early this morning. "I went to take pictures with the background board. What a show of face." She actually wanted to say something. But just when Xilin was about to ask Shen Qingqing to stop filming, suddenly, Shishi. On Gu Huayan's side, after finishing the scrambled eggs and putting them aside, he heated up the oil in the pan and threw the tomatoes in. There is water in the tomatoes themselves, and then there is hot oil in the pot. The water and hot oil will definitely splash when they collide. Shen Qingqing happened to be taking pictures with her back to Gu Huayan. Because she wanted to take a clearer picture and make it appear more ambiguous, Shen Qingqing was very close to Gu Huayan and his pot. Then a funny scene happened. Ah! Hot oil splashed on Shen Qingqing's body, making her jump up and down. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 147. Ah! It burned me to death. Hiss. It hurt so much. In order to make the photos appear more ambiguous, Shen Qingqing deliberately stayed very close to Gu Huayan. I don't know if this woman is really stupid, or if she is heartless. The tomatoes will pop under the hot oil pan. She relies on such it would be strange not to get burned. She wore few clothes, and a lot of her back and neck were exposed. Her skin was originally white and tender, but after a few drops of hot oil were applied, several small red spots quickly appeared. She grimaced in pain and jumped up and down like a monkey. Puff. Ha ha ha. The audience laughed like crazy. Everyone said, "You deserve it. It's so satisfying." No. Although she is quite distressing, she really asked for it. Ah ha ha ha, do you think my brother is Zhang Shuo and you can just mess with him? This wave is quite funny. Logically speaking, everyone should feel sorry for Shen Qingqing when she was burned. The show crew should also make a fuss when the celebrity artist is injured. Do you need an ice pack, a band-aid, or send me to the hospital? This was the case when Xilin's feet were sprained before. But at this moment, don't know why. Both the audience and the program crew were indifferent. No one felt sorry for Shen Qingqing, all the comments were about she deserves it, and no one from the program team came to care about her. There's really nothing you can do about it, she asked for it. If you say she usually touches Jongshuo, then just touch Jongshuo. At any rate, the things PD Jong usually does are not dangerous, either playing the guitar upstairs or making a BGM or something with the computer downstairs. But Gu Huiyan was lighting a fire to cook. This thing is really dangerous. To be honest, this is just Gu Huiyan frying rice. If Gu Huiyan grills it, he can really give her some. Puff. The mature sister Xylin gently covered her red lips with her hand and turned her back gently. Zhang Shuo laughed out loud and almost raised his hand to applaud. God knows how disgusted PD Zhang has been by this little troll recently. Shen Qingqing also saw that he couldn't cure her, so she took advantage of the opportunity and annoyed him. But she didn't expect that Gu Huiyan treated her for a while today, and it was so clear. To be honest, Zhang Shuo had really disliked Gu Huiyan before this. But I don't know why. Start this morning. Why do you think this guy Gu Huiyan is so handsome? Absolutely amazing. No, you are so close to me. Gu Huiyan was also happy, using a spatula to stir-fry the tomatoes in the pot, while looking at Shen Qingqing funny. In fact, Gu Huiyan is a bit of a straight man. Generally, it is difficult for straight men to reject a sweet girl like Shen Qingqing who likes to be cute and pester you. Just like Gu Huiyan, although he doesn't like being trapped, he won't just chase her away. But the problem is, she can't get too close. Ah! It hurts. Woo! Shen Qingqing pouted, and kept reaching out to touch her back. This woman was really made of water, and her tears were flowing down as if she was really free. Her staff was also very helpless and had no choice but to come forward to take care of her. In fact, there were only a few red spots on her back, and there didn't seem to be any injuries from the burn. How to do this? She cried and asked Gu Huiyan for comfort. Gu Huiyan shrugged and said in a very straight manly manner. No need to do this, right? In daily life, when everyone is cooking, there will always be cuts or burns on their hands. This thing is unavoidable. Anyway, in Gu Huiyan's impression, he used to just rinse his hands with cold water and get burnt. If you want to say that this thing went to the hospital, it's really not that big of a fuss. Even if you are a girl, the little oil just hurt a little bit, it doesn't feel like it is serious. Ah, my back won't be so hot that it looks ugly, right? Shen Qingqing was still worried about whether there was a problem with her skin due to the heat, and Gu Huiyan couldn't stand it anymore. He said, if you are really worried, just cut off the clothes on the burned area and rinse it with cold water. Why do you need to cut off your clothes? Shen Qingqing had a shocked expression on her face, hugging her chest with both hands, and looking at Gu Huiyan as if she were a pervert. Gu Huiyan was speechless and said, because we need to avoid tearing and causing secondary damage. He shouldn't think that he would be interested in her airport, right? Gu Huiyan, the second Xiongdaxian of Shang Zuoyan's family, hasn't even said that he covets her yet, so he must also like okay. The audience couldn't stand watching anymore. The barrage was full of curses, saying that you are not a good person. Are you worthy of flirting with my sister Pei's man? Ah, my clothes are so expensive, I can't bear to part with them. After confirming that Gu Huiyan meant no harm, Shen Qingqing pouted her mouth and said, then you go to the hospital. Gu Huiyan couldn't bear it anymore and said, go quickly. If you go later, the wounds will heal. As soon as these words came out. Puff. Ha ha ha. The audience, guests, program team, and Shen Qingqing's assistant all laughed like crazy. Ding, the host was successfully exposed, system points add 91x5. Let's just say that the splash of oil is really not that big of a fuss. She was close just now, but only a few drops of oil splashed, some of which were through her clothes. The red spots have all faded away now. What all the fuss? Shen ching ching. Humph. Bad guy. She snorted, glared at Gu Huiyan fiercely, and then followed the assistant to take a shower upstairs. Gu Huiyan shook his head and didn't bother her anymore. He just continued to cook his own rice. Needless to say, although Gu Huiyan doesn't cook very exquisite meals, he can cook a lot. Make noodles, cook instant noodles, spread pancakes and fruits, fry steak, fried rice. There's really nothing he can't do when it comes to homely meals. Just look at this moment. After Gu Huiyan fried the tomatoes, he threw the rice into the pot and stir-fried. After stir-frying evenly, he threw in the eggs and sprinkled some soy sauce. At this time, someone said in the barrage, "Tomato and egg fried rice with soy sauce. Shouldn't there be soy sauce? Aren't tomatoes and scrambled eggs all sweet? Fried rice should also be sweet." Ha ha ha, you are starting a north-south conflict with labor and management again, right? Brothers, copy the guy. The scrambled eggs with tomatoes are salty, the rice dumplings are sweet, and the tofu curd is salty. This will be the case even when the King of Heaven is here. The use of soy sauce is purely Gu Huiyan's personal taste. Since he was a child, he felt that egg fried rice would not taste good without some soy sauce and lack of color. Of course, he didn't say that he had to put it in. His cooking was quite diverse and he didn't say what must be put in it. It will never be useless without soy sauce and sesame oil like a certain famous gourmet. After adding soy sauce and salt, add a little oyster sauce, sprinkle with chopped green onion, and the tomato and egg fried rice is ready. Just when Gu Huiyan finished firing, Shang Zuoyan came back from dance practice next door. "Smell good." Shang Zuoyan's eyes gleamed when she smelled the aroma coming from the kitchen in the morning after a long absence. She also swallowed hard when she saw the red tomato and egg fried rice. It has to be said that Gu Huiyan is a smart guy and knows exactly what she likes to eat. Who would refuse a bowl of sticky tomato and egg fried rice after exercising on an empty stomach in the morning? The fried rice was indeed quite fragrant, and even Zhang Shuo wanted to take a bite, but he was too embarrassed to open his mouth. "You guys eat first, and I'll get a courier from my door." Gu Huiyan put down the bowls and chopsticks and turned to go out. He managed to amuse many viewers like this. Gu Huiyan is basically the first person in the history of variety shows to record a show and by express delivery. The problem is that he seems to be addicted to it. "There was express delivery just after I got back, and I don't know what I bought." Ah! Shang Zuoyan gulped down her meal, not caring about what Gu Huiyan bought. Her assistant wanted to stop her from consuming carbohydrates so crazily, but considering that this was what Gu Huiyan did for her, and the relationship between the two was still to be eased, they didn't have the heart to call her. After a while, when the movie stars Su and Shen Qingqing came downstairs, Gu Huiyan came in from the outside holding a quite large express box. "What did you buy?" Xylin was a little confused when she saw the boss's express box. "This box could probably hold a person." "A gift for you." Gu Huiyan looked very simple and went directly to the kitchen to get scissors to open the express delivery. Everyone thought it might be some expensive gift, but after opening the box, what came into view was. It turned out to be one pillow after another. Rainbow unicorn, panda, sweetheart bunny, husky. Many. It is worth mentioning that there is also a radish pillow and a chicken leg pillow. Puff. At that time, many viewers laughed crazy when they saw this weird pillow. Everyone said, "Why the hell do you have a job, Gu Laolu? No. First tell me who you bought this single husky for. Don't tell me you bought it for Su Yuntang." Su Yuntang, really fasten Q. These pillows are actually Gu Huiyan's carefully selected gifts. But I saw him find the big chicken leg pillow from a pile of pillows, then ran to Shang Zuoyan in person and handed it to her and said, "Here, meet and greet." Shang Zuoyan was busy working on her meal just now. She was expecting which one Gu Huiyan would give to her. She was still thinking that the unicorn or the sweetheart bunny would be good, but the carrot would be fine too. In the end, who knew that Gu Huiyan brought him a big chicken drumstick? Cough cough cough. Shang Xuoyan choked at once, the rice even stuck in her throat, which made her cough repeatedly. You, ahem, you. Maybe she was too angry. She coughed and pointed at Gu Huiyan. Her expression at that time made her want to kill Gu Huiyan. Ah ha ha ha. The audience also laughed like crazy. Looking at the big chicken leg pillow, they expressed dumbfounding. No, what kind of image does Shang Xuoyan have in your heart? I'm even curious about what you, Gu Lalu, have in your head. How can you give this to a girl? You're such an idiot, you're really, oh, I'm so convinced. You still have a job, Gu Huiyan. Ha 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 ha. Everyone was laughing like crazy. Gu Huiyan really showed off his eye-catching performance this time, but I have to say that the effect of this show was really impressive. Everyone was curious, why does this kid have so many jobs? You are so good at organizing things. It's so funny even when he comes back to buy a gift, he is really worthy of his eye-catching Gu Huiyan. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan actually came across this big chicken leg pillow when he first started picking out gifts. He felt that a foodie like Shang Xuoyan would definitely like this pillow. It's a bit weird, but it's also very cute and funny. So in fact, Gu Huiyan only planned to buy this big chicken leg pillow at first. But then I thought about it, it wasn't appropriate to just buy it for Shang Xuoyan, how about letting everyone watch? I simply picked a few more, which were worth the 1 or 200 yuan. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan used Shunfeng Express because he wanted to send it in time for his arrival. Don't look at the other pillows that are pretty, but only this big chicken leg pillow was personally selected by Gu Huiyan for Shang Xuoyan. He also said proudly, I picked it especially for you. Shang Xuoyan. At that time, Shang Xuoyan's doll-like face was filled with question marks. Her head was covered with black lines, her mouth twitched, and she gritted her teeth and said, I'd really like to thank you. Fortunately, she planned to reconcile with Gu Huiyan because his fried rice was good. As soon as the big chicken drumstick came up, Shang Xuoyan thought, she never wants to see Gu Huiyan's eye-catching appearance, okay. How far can he go? This is too embarrassing. Ha ha ha. Even the small courtyard was bursting into laughter. The big chicken leg pillow that Gu Huiyan bought for Shang Xuoyan was so hilarious that it was so funny no matter how you looked at it. But don't tell me, this big chicken drumstick is really suitable for Shang Xuoyan. Isn't she a foodie? She can't walk when she eats. Doesn't this big drumstick fit her personality perfectly? The funniest thing is that Gu Huiyan's expression is sincere, but everyone can tell that this big chicken leg pillow is definitely a gift he carefully selected for Shang Xuoyan. Ah ha ha. Because of this, everyone laughed even more happily. Do you not like it? Gu Huiyan was not surprised to see everyone laughing, because this pillow was indeed very joyful, but the question was why did Shang Xuoyan still seem to be trembling with anger? It feels like she doesn't like it very much. Gu Huiyan scratched his head and said with a painful look on his face. In order to hurry up and arrive early, I asked them to express delivery to Shunfeng, which cost me dozens of yuan more. As soon as these words came out. Ah ha 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 ha, goose goose goose. Many viewers laughed out loud. Everyone said, no, you, Mr. Gu, really can't afford the dozens of dollars in postage. Actually, I don't think I can't afford the postage. The main reason is that these pillows only cost a few dozen yuan. Indeed, if the postage is as expensive as the purchased items, then it doesn't feel like it's worth it, haha. Look at Shang Xuoyan's expression, it seems to be saying, is it difficult for you to spend dozens of dollars more for me? Ha ha ha. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x5. The system points have been credited to the account. Just say that Gu Huiyan is famous now, and you can occasionally see some of his advertisements on TVs and computers. If you say that he is poor, no one will believe it. Some people even broke the news on the internet that Gu Huiyan's current price for writing songs starts at 1 million, and this does not include copyright. The rumor may be a bit exaggerated, but I have to say that Gu Huiyan really has such strength now. Just such a person. A person who started out by writing dozens or millions of songs. Why the hell would he be so worried about the express postage costing tens of dollars? What a talent! But how to put it? Because of this, everyone feels that he is quite friendly. Because many people buy things with free shipping in their daily lives. Unless they are in a hurry, they rarely use Shunfeng. This express delivery is indeed much more expensive than ordinary express delivery. Ordinary express delivery should cost around 13 or 4 yuan, while the slow one costs 18 or 9 yuan, and the fast one costs more than 20 yuan. The expensive 8 or 9 yuan is indeed not much, but if you ask Gu Huiyan to spend this money, does it taste better to buy 2 ice creams from his intersection shop, or 2 bottles of iced drinks? He is such a person. Before he became famous, everyone felt that he was quite friendly like this. Now that he is famous and rich, he is still the same as before, with almost no changes. He still feels pain because of the tens of dollars in express postage. It will make everyone feel quite happy. It is worth mentioning that after Shang Zuoyan heard about Gu Huiyan's express postage matter, instead of being moved, she became even more angry. Her delicate body was shaking crazily, and Shang Zuoyan's hand holding the iron spoon was so trembling that she hit the plate and made a sound. So he, Gu Huiyan, spent dozens of extra dollars on express delivery just for her. Is this something worthy of her touching? You, Gu Huiyan, spent dozens of extra dollars on express delivery just to give me such an embarrassing gift. Is it really worth touching me? Gu Huiyan. Everyone was laughing, which made Shang Zuoyan feel like they were laughing. Her face, as delicate as a doll, was full of sullenness. Maybe she was too focused on cooking just now, and there was a grain of rice in the corner of her mouth, which made her a little impatient for no reason. But she couldn't care about that anymore. In her hand, she held the chicken leg pillow that Gu Huiyan handed over. Raise it high. The dog had directed at Gu Huiyan. Hit it hard. I'll kill you. Hello. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan had quick eyesight and quick hands, and he immediately dodged away the moment Shang Zuoyan lifted the pillow, otherwise Shang Zuoyan would have slapped him to the ground by now. I bought you a gift with good intentions. Even if you don't like it, you won't hit me, right? He was quite reasonable. What do you call this a gift? Shang Zuoyan's pretty face flushed with anger, and she turned to look at the big chicken leg pillow she was holding in her hand. She felt so embarrassing. She wanted to put this big chicken drumstick into Gu Huiyan's mouth and let him eat it. Just do it. Hey. Don't run, stop. No, I bought a gift and made a mistake. You're right, it's my fault. It was a mistake for me to know you. Just stop. No. Don't get excited. In the worst case, why don't I buy you another one? Who told you I was excited? Come and stand there, I promise not to hit you. Do you think you can trust what you say? You. Stop. Stop. In the small courtyard, the two people started chasing and fighting again. Although, it's hilarious. But in fact, many viewers found it quite gratifying to see them return to their previous mode. Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan should be like this. This should be their style and formula. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 148. After meal. Nothing. Xylan organized a team building. Let's take a bus to Shaxi ancient town. The recording location of Crystal Love Season is in Yunnan. Before coming, the program team drew a picture for the guests, which was to focus on lifestyle and natural casualness. After the guests come, they can go wherever they want. The program team can even send out special cars and plan routes for them, so that they can experience the true meaning of love and feel the most primitive heartbeat during travel. The cake painting is quite good, and once I arrived, it was a completely different world. In the first few days after arriving, everyone was not familiar with each other and couldn't get along, so naturally they couldn't play. It was finally cooked, but the guests all got poisoned by eating fungus collectively, and it took them several days to recover. Then it was easy to raise it, right? Gu Huiyan caught up with the cow dung explosion incident and was exposed on the internet. He was away for more than 10 days and didn't come back until yesterday. It's been almost a month since the show was recorded, and this is the first time everyone in Crystal Love Season has come together for team building. Oh, yes, it's not appropriate to say team building because Pei Jingshu is not here and she is still busy with work. She said she would be back tonight or tomorrow morning. But this time when I came back, I recorded right to the end. In fact, the guests who were relatively busy during the recording period were Zhang Shuo and Pei Jingshu. After all, they are young and top-notch people. At this age, they are busy with their careers. Charlene Shang herself is quite busy, but she is just in time for the rehearsal stage of her upcoming tour, so she actually spends more time behind the scenes preparation than working on stage. Having said that, the recording of Crystal Love Season is actually almost over now. The recording period of the program is actually more than a month, and in a little more than a week, it will be over. There is actually no precise definition of how this end will end, and no one knows which pair will make it to the end. Among the 3 male guests, the best actor Su was definitely not chosen. The miserable and pitiful best actor Su was absolutely disgusted by this show. He was left alone throughout the whole show. He was so affectionate towards Xylan, but the goddess just didn't like him. PD Zhang is okay, but with Shen Qingqing, he's not alone. Gu Huiyan is more luxurious. He has the looking to the west CP with Xylan, the android CP with Shang Zuoyan, and the Pei Ban takes care of CP with Pei Jingshu. It's funny to say that in other romance dramas, there are a group of male and female guests who form a couple, but Gu Huiyan is better off, as he and 3 female guests each have a couple. Now look at it, which pair do you want to say will make it to the end? In fact, the most popular one is definitely Pei Ban takes care of CP. After Gu Huiyan sang for Pei Jingshu on Singer of the Times, the popularity of Pei Ban takes care of CP soared, and the whole internet wished it was a hit. But the other 2 pairs of CPS are not without rivals. After all, it's not true that we are trying to knock CP even if the various programs in Crystal Love Season are very sweet. Before the official announcement, everyone always had a watching the show attitude. If you don't go up and down, you really have to take responsibility. If you have this pair, you can't have another pair. Especially romance dramas involving celebrities. The celebrities are all good actors and it is all hype. How can this stuff be taken seriously? It's all just for fun. That is to say, the way Pei Jingshu and Gu Huiyan look at each other is so loving and looks so real, otherwise the designation Pei Ban takes care of CP would not be so popular. For now, even if Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan reconcile, most viewers may still want Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu to hold hands. Recently, there have been some voting topics on the internet about who Gu Huiyan will hold hands with at the end of Crystal Love Season. Among them, Pei Ban takes care of CP ranked first in the number of votes, while looking to the West CP and Android CP rank second and third respectively. The difference in votes is actually not very big. At this time, some Shiuer came out to cause trouble. They said in a dumbfounded way. Let's just say, how can Gu Huiyan and Hida let us vote for which female guest he will choose? Ahahaha, I think so too. But the problem is that he is really the biggest winner of this show. Before Crystal Love season aired, Gu Huiyan was still an unknown amateur. As of today, he may not be considered a top-tier actor for the time being, and is a little worse than Zhang Shuo, Shang Zuoyan, and Pei Jingshu, but he already has a considerable fan base, traffic, and reputation. At least he is definitely better than Shen Qingqing, and not just any 18th-tier artist can succeed. Gu Huiyan is really the biggest winner of this show. The crux of the matter is that people don't rely solely on stunt work to get ahead in the industry, they also really have hard power. Calorie, Want to See You, Adiao, Reverse War, Under the Flying Clouds, one after another excellent songs are produced by him, and each song is very famous and popular. Especially Calories, Reverse War and the most recent song Under the Flying Clouds, these three songs are all perfect out of the circle songs, not something ordinary musicians can create just because they want to. So in fact, for many fans, they are quite grateful to Crystal Love season for allowing them to discover such a treasure bag child. Oh yes, there is one thing I forgot to mention. That's when Pei Jingshu's new album was released at 12 noon today. There are 12 songs in the album, and the lyrics and arrangements of each song are of top quality. Sister Pei's unparalleled timbre and singing skills perform each song vividly. But how to say? While each song sounds good, it's also a little underwhelming. This is the case with today's domestic entertainment. Even if it is a high-quality album that a professional singer claims to have worked hard to accumulate, it actually sounds like that to the audience. It may even be that the singer overdid it when announcing the release, which led to the audience's expectations of the album being too high. When they heard that the quality of the work was actually not that high, there would naturally be some gap. Pei Jingshu didn't have a special announcement, but it may be because she is a top domestic entertainment star and is famous for her singing skills. She recently shined in Singer of the Times, so people actually have high requirements for her works. Under such circumstances, if many of the works in the new album have no highlights, it will make everyone a bit disappointed. Good thing. In Pei Jingshu's album, there is a leading song called Little Lucky. This song is the title song of the entire album, ranking first in the album. Compared with other songs in the album, the quality of the song is a bit high. Surprisingly, I feel that compared with other works, even if they are put together, they are like the sky and the earth, the difference between clouds and mud. There is a refrain in Little Lucky. It turns out that you are the luck I want to keep the most. It turns out that we were so close to love. God knows how much goosebumps were felt in all the audience when this chorus came out. You can make several pots of goosebump soup, okay. Precisely because of the high quality of this song, once it was released, it quickly became a chart slayer and went crazy on the new song charts and hot song charts of major music platforms. Airborne to the top of the list. Originally the third, second, and first list were Gu Huiyan's Want to See You and Reverse War respectively, as well as the song Under the Flying Clouds that he and Pei Jingshu sang on Time Singer. As a result, as soon as Little Lucky came out, these three songs were collectively kicked down one place. The comment area was also very lively, with a group of people shouting, "This song is so nice." As expected of Sister Pei, it's another masterpiece that has made her debut in the entertainment industry. AHH. It's my first time listening to it. I cried when I heard it. I haven't cried while listening to a song in how many years. Seriously, in the current music scene, Sister Pei's songs can hold her own against Gulalu. Hey, don't say that upstairs, go see the songwriter, there will be a surprise. Walk. Damn it. Wojao. Recently, haven't the top spots on the charts on all major music platforms been occupied by Gu Huiyan's works, especially Under the Flying Clouds? This song has almost directly killed other songs on the charts on all major music platforms. It was airborne. First. Therefore, Gu Huiyan's status in the music world has almost risen in a straight line recently, and he is in the limelight. Many veteran singers have come to him to ask for singing appointments. When Little Luck first topped the charts, some people said that only Pei Jingshu could hold down Gu Huiyan, but no one else could. As a result, a funny scene occurred. That is, some netizens pointed out that the songwriter of Little Lucky is Gu Huiyan. Yes, it is clearly stated in the lyrics. Words, Gu Huiyan. Music, Gu Huiyan. To be honest, many viewers got goosebumps when they listened to the song. When they saw these words, the goosebumps dropped like rain. I can't even cook the goosebump soup. God knows how romantic it is for the name of the songwriter Gu Huiyan to appear under the works of the singer Pei Jingshu. Some people just said that only Sister Pei's new song could stabilize Gu Huiyan, but when they turned around, they saw that it was Gu Huiyan who defeated himself after all the trouble. It turns out that this is the only song in Pei Jingshu's album that is of super high quality and super hit, and it was actually written by Gu Huiyan. It turns out that the only one who can defeat Gu Huiyan is Gu Huiyan himself. A large number of fans of Pei Ban Takes Care of CP in the comment area started to do business, and all kinds of good stories about talents and beauties began to circulate crazily. Speaking of which, the quality of this song Little Lucky is indeed a bit too high. It is so high that it probably surpasses all previous works created by Gu Huiyan. The song I wrote for Pei Jingshu surpassed all my previous most popular songs. Just for this matter, it is too romantic. Someone even said in the comment area, as expected of a song written for my wife. Some people also said that they all said that Pei Ban Takes Care of was just a joke, but now it has been proven, you too can tell when you two will make it official. This matter also brought up a hot search topic called #The title song of Pei Jingshu's new album Little Lucky was written by Gu Huiyan. All in all, because of the explosive song Little Lucky, Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu's Pei Ban Takes Care of CP once again became a hit. At the same time, the label of Gu Huiyan's talent is becoming more and more obvious on Gu Huiyan. It's also the same day. Gu Huiyan's company received no less than 100 requests for song appointments. Most of them are well-known singers, and there are even a few kings. It's an exaggeration anyway. Maybe it was because Little Lucky was so popular. In the evening of that day, Shang Zuoyan and the others came across the song when they were on their way back from a day in Shaxi ancient town. Originally, Sister Xylin and Shang Zuoyan were a little bit sad when they saw the overwhelming number of Little Luck and various videos marketing Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu Pei Ban Takes Care of CP on the internet. The two women tacitly chose not to mention this matter. As a result, Shen Qingqing didn't seem to notice, and said in a coy voice, "This song Little Lucky is so nice. Is it Sister Jingshu's new song? Will she come back tonight?" She was asking about Xylin, but her sister was very generous. She pursed her lips and said with a smile, "Should be back. I heard from the PD sister of the program team that she seems to have prepared a high-end dinner tonight, hee hee." Shen Qingqing was laughing. It was said that in order to celebrate Gu Huiyan's return, the program team planned to take them to a very famous local restaurant for dinner in the evening. It was not a special dish, but high-end Western food. Then, isn't this just the time when Pei Jingshu is back? The guests of Crystal Love Season finally gather together to celebrate the success of Pei Jingshu's new album. All in all, there are quite a lot of ideas. Shen Qingqing, a young creative genius, also shows a gluttonous expression when she talks about eating. In fact, she also marketed a foodie persona when she first debuted, but unfortunately, this persona did not take off. Let's just say that the character design of a foodie also depends on body and appearance, right? Just look at Shang Zuoyan, with her figure and the size of the Seong Dakshan brothers, there is indeed fat on her body, and she has to lose weight every day for no reason. She has meat on her body and gets fat when she eats, so it feels very appropriate to market her as a foodie. But look at Shen Qingqing. Dry and dry. Damn it. It's just a matter of asking her. There is no flesh on her body at all, she is as skinny as a boneless person, and there is not even a fly on the airport. Why is she marketing a foodie persona? You have to insist on marketing. For example, Shen Qingqing's team gave her a persona that doesn't make you fat. Originally, this character was quite enviable a few years ago, but in the past 2 years, he has been scolded for it. Most people get fat as soon as they eat, and are troubled by losing weight every day. Why the hell have you made a whole can't eat thing here? Fat, who are you so disgusting with? Shen Qingqing's reputation is not very good, and it has a lot to do with the unclear positioning. She didn't have much emotional intelligence yet, so she said stupidly, I don't know if I will have the chance to listen to Sister Jingshu singing a few words live tonight. Ah. Shang Zuoyan finally seized the opportunity and said, Pei Jingshu's appearance fee is not cheap. A song with more than 4 lines requires copyright. Do you pay these fees? Shen Qingqing couldn't help but said stubbornly. They are all guests on our show, why do they care about copyright fees? This is some moral kidnapping. Shang Zuoyan smiled. Then you are also a guest on the show, why don't you ask for the announcement fee? Shen Qingqing suddenly complained about autism. She actually had no bad intentions, she just wanted to improve the effect of the show. Who would have thought that Shang Zuoyan would come up to her like a gunshot? What the hell? Ha ha ha. The audience also laughed. In fact, everyone could see that Shang Zuoyan was in a bad mood and a little jealous since Little Luck became popular at noon. In fact, Shang Zuoyan is either jealous or a little unbalanced. If you look at the song Gu Huiyan wrote for Pei Jingshu, Want to See You doesn't actually count. It is the theme song of the show, but it can also be regarded as a song used for marketing by their Pei band Takes Care of CP. That song was good enough, but now Gu Huiyan actually wrote another song Little Lucky for Pei Jingshu. In terms of lyrics, composition, arrangement, quality, conception, etc., this song is simply a golden song. Shang Zuoyan even wondered whether the song would win a Golden Melody Award. And what about her? Also writing songs, Gu Huiyan composed a song Calories for her. Don't look at the outside world praising how the song suits her so well, it is tailor-made for her, and it became popular because of the Saliva song. But Shang Zuoyan doesn't like it? This is not what she wants at all. Just like the big chicken leg pillow that Gu Huiyan brought her as a meeting gift this morning, she didn't want to be a funny girl, that's not what she wanted. No girl always likes boys to make trouble with her, and she also wants some romance. And no girl can refuse romance. She wanted the meeting gift Gu Huiyan brought her to be romantic, and she even wanted a golden song like Pei Jingshu's Little Lucky. No matter how popular that song is, no matter how popular it is, it still can't have the same status as the golden song. Listen to Pei Jingshu's Little Lucky. It turns out that you are the luck that I want to keep the most. It turns out that we were so close to love, that decision to fight the world for me, that rain that accompanied me, everything was you. Listen. Have a look. Take a look at her calories again. Can it be compared? Is this balanced? Is this polite? Should this be done? Even if you don't talk about Gu Huiyan's differential treatment of people, let's talk about songwriting. She paid no less than Pei Jingshu. After all, the creative fee was more than 800,000, so why did she do it? The gap is so big. Is the difference between loving and not loving so big? Why? The more she thought about it, the angrier she became. Shang Zuoyan pouted and asked the staff. Where are Gu Huiyan and the others? Haven't they come back yet? When they came back, they went to the bathroom and then separated. After they came out, Gu Huiyan went shopping, and Sister Xylan took the female guest into the car and waited for them. They are almost here too. The staff member who was asked by Shang Zuoyan looked a little unnatural. What are they doing? Why are they so stained? Shang Zuoyan asked, frowning. Teacher Gu is shopping for something, the staff member replied. Shopping? Shang Zuoyan asked strangely. What did you buy? Her intuition told her that what Gu Huiyan bought should be unusual. This is indeed the case. The camera turned to Gu Huiyan. At this time, Gu Huiyan was standing in front of a stall selling fried skewers and said to his elder brother who was frying skewers. Boss, add more cumin. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 149. When the camera showed Gu Huiyan, the barrage was a series of question marks. Netizens were dumbfounded and expressed. No, brother, you are a celebrity and you eat fried skewers on the street, are you serious? You still have a job, Gu Lalu, it has to be you. Haha, he has to be my brother. Didn't the program team prepare a dinner for him? Can he still eat it now? Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points at 91x5. System points tips. Fried skewers are a ubiquitous street snack across the country. There is no cultural difference between the North and the South, let alone taste differences. It is available everywhere, and it is also a relatively popular snack. In the show footage at this time, the fried skewers stall has quite a variety of varieties. On the left are some crab sticks, quail eggs, vegetarian chicken, fish balls and so on. On the right are some chicken gizzards, pork belly, bone and meat, ham sausage, chicken wings, and so on. Oh, yes, there are also vegetables, which are vegetarian. It's basically corn on the cob, French fries, mushroom skewers, cabbage skewers, lettuce skewers, enoki mushrooms, lotus root slices and eggplant slices, soybean oil skin, fried bean sticks, etc. Gu Huiyan randomly ordered some crab sticks, quail eggs, vegetarian chicken and the like, mostly based on which ones he liked. He made fried skewers at home, so he didn't know much about these things. Basically, when Gu Huiyan eats roadside fried skewers, there are a few must-order dishes, one is starch sausage, one is bean sprouts, and one is vegetarian chicken. These are definitely the essence for Gu Huiyan. When I'm at home, I usually have some kind of cicada turtle before it sheds. That stuff is quite delicious, but I don't have it here. When it comes to dishes, he usually adds some cabbage and enoki mushrooms, but usually doesn't eat much else because it's not worth it. Just talk about fried eggplant skewers and fried potato slices. 2 or 3 slices cost 1 or 2 yuan. How much does it cost to buy an eggplant or a potato? IQ tax. Gu Huiyan is rich, but he is not a fool, and he will definitely not eat those things. In other words, you must eat enoki mushrooms, otherwise Gu Huiyan wouldn't order them. It is worth mentioning that there are some mushroom skewers here, and some, fried silkworm chrysalises and the like. Gu Huiyan liked these very much, so he took a few more. Zzz. Various skewers were bubbling in the oil pan, and hot smoke was rising. The boss took some hot oil from the oil pan and poured it into a plate with cumin and curry powder on the side. He stirred it evenly and brushed it on the skewers after they were fried. Such a picture may indeed be a bit greasy. In the eyes of many people who want to lose weight and exercise self-discipline, it must be a carbohydrate bomb and a type of calorie explosion. But it is undeniable that the fried skewers stalls on the street are really full of fireworks. To be honest, if you can see such a scene when the camera is on Gu Huiyan, other celebrities will definitely not be associated with such a down-to-earth and common street snack. Gu Huiyan stood in front of the fried skewers cart, holding his waist, waiting for the boss to fry the skewers for him. You will find that Gu Huiyan at this time can perfectly integrate with such a pyrotechnic environment. He seems to be in the same state as many people in their daily lives. After a busy day during the day, he passes by the night market at night to get some beer and fried skewers to relieve the fatigue of the day. Very pleasant. Speaking of today, Gu Huiyan followed Sister Xylan and the others for a whole day of fun, but it was tiring enough. Traveling is actually really physical work. In fact, Gu Huiyan doesn't think Shaxi is particularly interesting. It may be true that it is more quaint and niche than some very famous ancient cities. But being niche has its own reasons. It's not just the location. So simple. There are always people on the internet who say that it is a niche place so it is fun and no one will bother you. In fact, it varies from person to person. There are always people who don't like the commercialization of the ancient city and want to escape the city to see the natural scenery, but there are also many people who like to join in the fun, and there is no sense of fun when there are fewer people. You are like Gu Huiyan. In fact, he is still willing to join in the crowds of people. That's how young people are, they don't like too much silence. On the contrary, people like Sister Xylan and Best Actor So quite like the quiet atmosphere here. Speaking of which, they actually wanted to go to some of the more popular ancient cities, but it was a pity that a group of stars like them would make a high-profile appearance in several popular ancient cities, and they would be surrounded in minutes and unable to walk. Last time Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshi got up early and went to the ancient city to eat rice noodles, they almost caused a crowd. This is also the reason why they chose the relatively niche Shaxi ancient town for team building. Even though the place they chose is relatively niche, they are often recognized by passers-by because of the recording program and various camera teachers following them. Just for now. Gu Huiyan was waiting for a fried skewer on the roadside. Two female tourists came up and wanted to buy. The moment they saw Gu Huiyan, they were stunned. They were chattering. "Hey, look. Is that Gu Huiyan? How is it possible? How can Gu Huiyan eat fried skewers on the street? How is it impossible? Doesn't it look like something he would do? Celebrities are just characters, do you take this seriously? But he seems to have a cameraman over there." They were chattering, and Gu Huiyan was listening from the side. He held his forehead silently and smiled helplessly. In fact, even now, many people think that he is a fake character. He has no way to explain this. He can only say that the celebrity characters of domestic entertainment have left too bad impression on the audience. Deep. One of the girls finally couldn't help but come up and ask Gu Huiyan. Excuse me, are you Gu Huiyan? Gu Huiyan didn't wear a hat today, otherwise he would have lowered the brim of his hat just now. He smiled slightly. "It's me, hello." In fact, when Gu Huiyan turned to look at them, they had already recognized Gu Huiyan. Xiao Gu's appearance is still worthy of praise. He may be a little darker than before, but he can still be regarded as a proper young man, and he is still recognizable. "Ah! It's really you." They were very surprised to tell Gu Huiyan that they liked him, his songs and so on, and they were very enthusiastic. They also gave Gu Huiyan the snacks they bought from the tourist attractions. Gu Huiyan was a little flattered. In fact, it seems that since Time Singer, Gu Huiyan's chances of being spotted on the street have become higher and higher. In the past, he would only be recognized by the way when he went out with Pei Jingshu, but now he is almost being watched by himself. It also made Gu Huiyan feel more and more like a star. But you have to ask Gu Huiyan how he feels. In fact, it seems that just like now, it is inconvenient to buy food on the street and so on, and I don't feel that much. It is worth mentioning that the girl who didn't believe it was Gu Huiyan, after the little sister asked Gu Huiyan for his signature and saw Gu Huiyan's block letters signature, she finally completely believed that it was Gu Huiyan himself. Alright. After a while, Gu Huiyan's skewers were fried. After taking the fried skewers, Gu Huiyan paid and said hello to the two female tourists. Then he took out a piece of starch sausage and walked towards the car while chewing it. On the way, the camera teacher told him that everyone was already waiting for him in the car, so he simply quickened his pace. But when he was about to get on the bus, out of the corner of his eye, Gu Huiyan suddenly caught a glimpse of a small cart on the side of the road, selling nothing but white goods. Gu Huiyan paused, turned around, thought for a moment, then turned around and walked that way. "What are you doing again?" "This is..." The camera teacher was helpless. "Why did this kid think so?" "I'll buy something and I'll be right back," Gu Huiyan said casually. "In the car?" "Not here yet." Shang Zuoyan pouted her little mouth, stood at the car door, stuck out her cute little head, and looked in the direction of Gu Huiyan. "I'm coming." Gu Huiyan ran over with a skewer in his mouth, a bag of fried skewers and a bag of steamed buns. Shang Zuoyan. When they saw the steamed buns, both Shang Zuoyan and all the viewers watching the show were all confused. So after a long time of fuss, Gu Huiyan just ran to a street stall belonging to Te Niang, to buy steamed buns. "What the hell?" "As expected of you, Gu Huaqiang." "Gu Huaqiang, I won't tell you that I want to practice sword skills with this steamed bun." "Ahahaha, why is he like my dad? He has to take some steamed buns with him on the way home." "Why are you still buying steamed buns?" Even Xylin couldn't help but ask Gu Huiyan in a fit of laughter and tears when she saw this bun. Speaking of which, Xylin hasn't seen steamed buns in an unknown amount of time. Although she doesn't control her body very much, she is the type who eats more when she sees something delicious. She doesn't eat just to be full, she just eats it. It's to understand greed. The same goes for other celebrities. You're like Zhang Shuo, who basically doesn't eat any carbohydrates, and doesn't eat rice or noodles, let alone steamed buns. It seems that many people have never seen such an everyday thing as steamed buns in the same frame as celebrity artists. Good guy, Gu Huiyan just bought a bag of steamed buns and came back. The guests in the car were all dumbfounded. Ding, the host successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, points add 91x5. System points were also given to Gu Huiyan. Gu Huiyan swallowed the fried skewers he was chewing in his mouth, and then replied helplessly. "I really haven't eaten steamed buns for a long time. I'm really tired of eating rice." This statement is really not a lie, it is really Gu Huiyan's true thoughts. Steamed buns, sesame seed cakes, noodles, etc. In fact, people in the north eat more, and people in the south eat more rice. People here in Yunnan seem to eat more rice and rice noodles. Gu Huiyan can't see much of it on the street. Seller of steamed buns. Maybe the guests in the Crystal Courtyard don't have the concept of staple food subconsciously, so even if they occasionally get some staple food, it's usually steamed rice or something. Not only is it convenient and fast, rice also has lower calories than pasta such as steamed buns and sesame seed cakes. As an out-and-out northerner, Gu Huiyan actually loves to eat rice, but even if he eats it for a long time, he still feels that steamed buns and sesame seed cakes are more normal. Just say you came to Yunnan to record Crystal Love Season until now. If it weren't for the chance to buy a few on the roadside today, Gu Huiyan would have no idea what steamed buns look like. Even though the recording was temporarily suspended due to some matters a few days ago, the meals we ate were actually work meals bought by the staff. Those staff members may also feel that celebrities control their figure and eat less staple food, so all they bought was rice, which was not plentiful. Not much. Gu Huiyan was too embarrassed to say that he didn't have enough to eat during the filming for a few days, so he went back to the hotel and ordered takeout. It is obviously a staple food that is closely related to ordinary people's daily lives, but Gu Huiyan hasn't seen it for a long time. How ironic. Although he is considered popular, Gu Huiyan feels that his lifestyle does not need to change. He is just an ordinary, normal person. And when Gu Huiyan blurted out the sentence "I haven't eaten steamed buns in a long time," many people actually resonated with it. Gu Huiyan is indeed very simple. Even though he is now famous, he will still buy fried skewers from roadside stalls and eat them without fear of fans recognizing him. He will take pictures and sign autographs with fans generously, and he will also eat staple food in different ways. He is carrying a steamed bun and eating fried skewers, with some yellow cumin noodles at the corner of his mouth. He is a bit sloppy and not very refined, but it is this image of him that many viewers admire. As an ordinary person, it is easy to be simple, because they want to be tall but they cannot be tall. It is not that they want to be simple, but simplicity is their daily life. But as a famous celebrity artist, he is still so simple. This is the most valuable thing. Someone posted on the barrage, "Love it, love it." Maybe it's these moments that attract Gu Huiyan's most fans. His daily routine is life. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan bought a lot of steamed buns. In fact, he also knew that no one would eat them. Even Sister Xylin might not eat the steamed buns with him. But the problem is that you can't just buy your share. So in fact, Gu Huiyan is quite tight. "Brother Huiyan, eat less." As soon as Gu Huiyan got in the car, Shen Qingqing suddenly said in a cooing voice, "The program team has prepared a big meal for you tonight, be careful not to eat it." As soon as she said those words, let alone the guests, they couldn't stand the barrage anymore. "Why did you call me brother?" "No, are you sure it's appropriate for you to call me brother so dotingly?" "Jiangshuo, are you playing hard to get with me? Why does this woman rub against everyone?" At the end of the day, maybe Shen Qingqing really felt that she was familiar with Gu Huiyan. In the morning, she called him Little Teacher Gu, and in the evening she went straight to Brother Huiyan. What we are saying is that even Shang Xuoyan has called Gu Huiyan by his first name so far, and no one has ever called him so affectionately. For those who don't know, I really wonder how close Gu Huiyan and Shen Qingqing are. Gu Huiyan doesn't care much. Although he doesn't like the trap very much, there's no need to argue with her if someone gets close to her. On the contrary, it was Shang Xuoyan. Cut. When the camera showed Xiao Yema, she rolled her eyes, looked disdainful, and made a vomiting expression. Then she imitated Shen Qingqing's tone, holding her throat and calling to Gu Huiyan in a whisper. "Brother Huiyan. Gu Huiyan." He didn't know why, but Gu Huiyan felt normal when Shen Qingqing pinched her. As soon as Shang Xuoyan pinched her, he wanted to sew Shang Xuoyan's mouth shut. Ah ha ha ha. Everyone laughed like crazy and said that Shang Xuoyan still had a way of yin and yang. Gu Huiyan had no intention of getting involved in the women's war. He was munching on his fried skewers and had no interest in the lavish dinner that Shen Qingqing said the program team had prepared for him that night. Now if you give him a Western meal worth tens of thousands of dollars, he won't necessarily exchange it for the fried skewers. One thing to say, Gu Huiyan's fried skewers are really fragrant. Fried food actually has a strong aroma. Add in the smell of cumin powder and curry powder used in Gu Huiyan's fried skewers. It's really fragrant. The windows and doors of their car are closed, not only because the air conditioner is turned on in the car, but also because they are a bus with a group of celebrities, and the curtains must be drawn, otherwise they will be easily recognized by passers-by or paparazzi. Secretly filming Reuters or something. Because of this, the aroma of Gu Huiyan's fried skewers wafted throughout the car. Everyone had been playing all day, but by the afternoon we were exhausted, and the smell of fried food was so appetizing. Gilug. Shen Qingqing couldn't help but swallow. But she saw that Jiangshuo was holding back, so she didn't dare to open her mouth. Actor Su actually dislikes this cheap smell, but I have to say that even if he smells this smell, he will feel like his saliva is secreting like crazy. Sister Xylin actually wanted to ask Gu Huiyan for something to eat, but considering that they were sitting far away from each other, she was a little embarrassed to ask for it. It is worth mentioning that Shang Xuan and Gu Huiyan sat very close to each other, and Gu Huiyan showed off in front of her. Gilug. Shang Xuan swallowed hard. She originally wanted to argue with him about Little Lucky, but she ignored him out of anger. It turned out that he ate so deliciously, this guy was so heartless and didn't notice her unhappiness at all. Shang Xuan's defense was immediately broken. She simply stopped pretending, pouting her little mouth and whispering, "Hey, give me one." Gu Huiyan just ate and didn't listen carefully to what Shang Xuan said. In addition, her voice was soft, like a mosquito humming, so Gu Huiyan didn't hear it clearly. "What did you say?" he asked. "Give me one." Shang Xuan frowned and was a little embarrassed to open her mouth. She felt quite ashamed for saying this. Why did she have the nerve to say it loudly? No one said anything, but she was the only one who opened her mouth. She would definitely be embarrassed. Because of this, her voice is still very small. Gu Huiyan finished a bunch of crab steaks, stuffed the skewers into the bag, looked at Shang Xuan speechlessly, and asked, "Did your vocal cords fall at home?" As soon as these words came out. Puff. Ha ha ha. At that time, everyone watching the show burst into laughter. Gu Huiyan, how can you talk like this? Shang Xuan, really fasten Q. You old man is really convinced, ha ha ha. Should I say it or not, this kid Gu Huiyan is really a bit of a golden sentence maker. If you don't make a sound, it will be a blockbuster. Talent. Certainly. Shang Xuan will definitely cut him into pieces. Participating in a love show, this little guy is too down to earth. Author, Buletin Shi Swan Shi Shui Xian. Chapter 150. You just left your vocal cords at home. Gu Huiyan. Shang Xuan was trembling with anger. She stretched out an index finger and a thumb with both hands. Like a crab, she twisted the flesh on Gu Huiyan's arm and pinched it. Hiss. Gu Huiyan grimaced in pain, but the key problem was that Gu Huiyan really didn't hear what she said clearly. Cough. At this time, Shang Xuan's assistant in front coughed slightly, as if to remind her. It was good to let her eat egg fried rice in the morning, which was high in calories. Now she wanted to eat fried skewers with Gu Huiyan? I want to eat shit. As for Shang Xuan, who has a body that is prone to obesity, is she really not afraid of dying from obesity? Well. Just when Shang Xuan was about to repeat what she said, when the assistant coughed, she pouted her little mouth and turned to the side in a depressed manner. She lost interest and ignored Gu Huiyan. No. What are you talking about? Gu Huiyan asked. I didn't say anything, Shang Xuan replied angrily. You. Gu Huiyan was a little incoherent for a moment, and after sorting it out for a while he asked. You didn't say anything and you pinched me. You deserve it. Have I provoked you? I don't want to take it out on others, right? Then what's going on? Do you still want to pinch me back? Come and give me my arm, you pinch me, you, hiss. Are you really pinching me? It is not a gentleman to not avenge one's vengeance. I will fight with you, Gu Huiyan. In the car. The two living treasures began to chatter and pinch each other again. Zhang Shuo and the others were a bit dumbfounded. In fact, they had plenty of rest during the recent recording of Crystal Love Season. If they were busy at work and spent all their time in the car resting and sleeping, these two would definitely explode on the spot if they were chattering so much. Shang Xuan's skin is white and fleshy, and her skin is relatively sensitive. If you get pinched, you will be really popular for a long time. After arguing with Gu Huiyan for a long time, Shang Xuan's arms were red in many places. She felt aggrieved when she saw the red marks on her fair arms. She pouted her little mouth in pain and looked like she was about to cry. It was at this time. Here. Gu Huiyan suddenly handed over the bag of fried skewers and said. It's reserved for you. Although Gu Huiyan did not hear clearly what Shang Zuoyan said just now, Gu Huiyan would definitely not eat alone, and would usually give way when buying something. No one else would eat this fried food, so Shang Zuoyan would be a little bit greedy. Snort. Shang Zuoyan snorted and rolled her eyes at Gu Huiyan. This person was really not a human being. He could obviously feed her directly, but he insisted on fighting. You're so annoying. She poked Gu Huiyan. But for the sake of deep-fried skewers, I actually don't have the same experience as him. In fact, girls like Shang Zuoyan are really satisfied. The way to cure her is always to satisfy her mouth. Just say that the gift Gu Huiyan brought to Shang Zuoyan this morning was a big chicken leg pillow. If it were such a big chicken leg, Shang Zuoyan would not only not be angry, but might even praise and thank him. Woolen cloth. While laughing, their car drove slowly towards the restaurant where they had reserved dinner tonight. It is worth mentioning that Gu Huiyan bought a fried mushroom skewer. When he took out the fried mushroom skewer, Shang Zuoyan hid as if he had seen arsenic. Then Gu Huiyan laughed and imitated Shang Zuoyan's poisoned by eating fungi look and shouted. Sausage! Don't run! It caused a burst of memories. Of course, this also led Shang Zuoyan to blow his head off again. But it should be said that the fried mushroom skewers were really delicious, and Gu Huiyan was very happy to eat them, as well as the silkworm chrysalises. Gu Huiyan was thinking about buying some silkworm chrysalises and frying them later. Just mix it with sauce. At the same time. Dolly. A Western restaurant near Erhai Lake. Buzzing. A commercial car stopped slowly, and Pei Jingshu, wearing a mask and a cap, got out of the car. Today she was wearing a black short-sleeved shirt, revealing two slender and long arms. The design of this short-sleeved shirt is very interesting. There are two ropes on the lower right side, which can be tied into a beautiful bow. It hangs down on one side of the body, which is quite sexy. The lower body is worn with an irregular skirt, pure white. Black and white is always the most matching theme in this world. Two jade lotus-like calves are looming under the skirt, which is very beautiful. The shoes are a pair of simple white sneakers, pure white, and the tips are black socks and white lace around the ankles. It is a very modern breast-style outfit. Pei Jingshu has a perfect figure and temperament. Wearing such a dress on her body is the icing on the cake, and the whole thing gives people a youthful feeling. Just looking at her like this, I didn't know she was thinking of a female college student. Pei Jingshu's daily outfit is actually like this. She is always very sexy, but you can't see how much flesh she shows. Just say that today's outfit does not show much legs or shoulders, but it always gives people the feeling of pure desire is very attractive. Her long black hair was casually draped over her shoulders, giving her a bit of a goddess look. She really proved with practical actions that real beauty never needs to be sidelined. The staff over there said they have to arrive in a while, so let's go and rest for a while. After Pei Ya communicated with the staff of the program team, she came over to inform Pei Jingshu. Pei Jingshu nodded slightly. At this time, the assistant brought her a set of clothes worn by the clerk in the store. The program team seems to be planning to prepare a surprise for the guests, allowing Pei Jingshu to appear disguised as a waiter. This is a common occurrence in many variety shows. However, Pei Ya and her assistant couldn't help but want to complain. With Pei Jingshu's appearance, temperament, and recognition, how do you ask her to disguise herself? In other words, what could Pei Jingshu wear that would make people unrecognizable for a while? It's completely an invalid disguise, isn't it? Fact. And indeed it is. When Gu Huiyan and the others arrived at the restaurant, it was already 7 o'clock in the evening. Because it was summer, the sky was still very bright even at this time. The setting sun slowly sets, and the blue sky is gradually painted with a layer of orange-red. The clouds seem to have been splashed with paint, and the distant sky gradually begins to darken. The program team prepared a quite luxurious restaurant for the guests. It is said that a meal here starts at tens of thousands of yuan, which is quite expensive. Having said that, I don't know if all the funds of Crystal Love season were spent on inviting guests. I really didn't see how generous they were in treating guests to dinner and entertainment. Hiccup. When getting out of the car, Gu Huiyan burped and threw the leftover bag of fried skewers into the trash can not far away. When he came back, his mature sister Xylin gently touched her hair and said with a smile, "Can you still eat it?" Gu Huiyan ate a lot of fried skewers when he got in the car. To others, tonight's meal may be worth looking forward to, but to Gu Huiyan, he might as well eat some fried skewers. "You should be able to eat it." Gu Huiyan scratched his head, pointed in the direction of the restaurant and said, "And the portion shouldn't be very big, right?" In Gu Huiyan's impression, the portions of Western food are not very large. They are the type that focus on exquisite ingredients and can be eaten up in one bite. The actor knew this well. On his first day in Crystal Love season, when he fried the steak, the portion was not large, and Gu Huiyan almost had one bite. So I'm not really worried about not being able to eat at night. Besides, at Gu Huiyan's age, it's the time to eat. After playing for a day, he showed off to you even if you gave him a cow, let alone eating fried skewers and making some Western food. Hee hee. Xylin smiled softly. "Let's go." "Go in with Gu Huiyan." When they entered, Shang Zuoyan and others were already in place. Best actor Su and sister Xylin are sitting in the middle. They are the two highest in terms of status and seniority, so naturally they should sit in the C position. Zhang Shuo and Shen Qingqing sit on the left, and Gu Huiyan and Shang Zuoyan sit on the right. It is worth mentioning that he also brought over the bag of steamed buns that Gu Huiyan bought on the road. After everyone was in place, the program team notified the restaurant to start serving food. At this time, the mature sister Xylin suddenly interrupted and asked, "Didn't I say that Jingshu will come in the evening? She hasn't arrived yet." "Yes." Everyone nodded. Indeed, because it was said to be a blessing for Gu Huiyan and Pei Jingshu, it was also a celebration of the best-selling of Pei Jingshu's new album. How come the rightful owner arrived and started eating? At this time, the program team replied, "Pei Jingshu's flight has been delayed, so she may not be able to get here for the time being." As soon as this was said, many viewers were quite disappointed. That's it? The guests were also interested, especially Shen Qingqing, who said coquettishly, "I thought I could hear Sister Jingshu singing a new song." Shang Zuoyan rolled her eyes and said nothing. Although Gu Huiyan was a little disappointed, he didn't show it. Speaking of which, Gu Huiyan seemed to have been quite quiet and didn't talk much since he came into this Western restaurant. Notified by the program team, the restaurant has also started serving food. The order of serving of Western food is appetizer, soup, side dish, main dish, vegetables or salad, dessert, and hot drink. The so-called starter is actually what we normally call appetizers, which usually include a platter of vegetables, fruits, seafood, and meat. Caviar, foie gras, butter chicken puff pastry box, etc. are also available. The appetizer of the Western restaurant they came to was a platter of salmon and caviar. It looked pretty good and the portion was quite large. Of course, it just feels like this platter is colorful. In fact, it doesn't have much salmon and caviar, it's mostly vegetables for decoration. Wow! Shen Qingqing, the little creative genius, is not active in eating, but is very active in taking pictures. She took a lot of crazy pictures with her mobile phone with Zhang Shuo as the background. Everyone didn't want to disturb her elegant mood. They simply said a few words and started to move one after another. It's Gu Huiyan's side. "Hello." He waved to the waiter and whispered, "Can you get me a pair of chopsticks?" As soon as these words came out, puff. Shang Zuoyan, who was sitting next to him at the time, burst out laughing. She couldn't help but give Gu Huiyan a thumbs up in a disgusted and funny way. That expression seemed to say, "It's you as expected." She remembered that Gu Huiyan used chopsticks to eat steak in the crystal courtyard, but she never expected that he would ask the waiter for chopsticks outside. Talent. I thought he would be more restrained outside. Ah ha ha. The audience also burst into laughter, and the system points also reminded Gu Huiyan. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x3. Sure enough, he was still the same Gu Huiyan who was not used to using knives and forks and was only used to using chopsticks. The corner of actor Su's mouth twitched slightly, recalling the fear of being dominated by Gu Huiyan's chopsticks. Fortunately, Gu Huiyan did not continue to work. The waiter brought him chopsticks and he bowed his head to eat without talking. Only. Crunch, crunch. Everyone was eating caviar and salmon, and there was no sound when eating those things, but Gu Huiyan's food was crunchy, as if he was chewing cucumbers. What did you eat? Shang Zuoyan couldn't help but look sideways. That's it? Gu Huiyan answered by pointing to the small carrots on the plate for decoration with his chopsticks. Shang Zuoyan. Isn't that a side dish? Although the side dishes are used for decoration and presentation, they can also be eaten, but who eats the side dishes when eating Western food? Pook. The guests couldn't help but laugh. Shen Qingqing, a young writer, even told Gu Huiyan from a distance. Brother Huiyan really deserves his reputation. Ah ha ha. The audience also laughed like crazy, and they all said that you are indeed the one who shows off Gu Huiyan's eyes. Ding, the host has successfully grounded himself and gained exposure, and the points are at 91x3. After the system points arrived, Gu Huiyan actually didn't mean to do anything wrong. It was mainly because he ate fried skewers on the way and his mouth was a little tired. He wanted to eat some fruits and vegetables to relieve his tiredness before eating anything else. Of course, this is only one reason, there is another reason. That means Gu Huiyan really can't eat caviar, salmon, etc. I just thought, these things are all raw, can they be eaten? The salmon was just that, it was fish meat after all, and the caviar seemed to Gu Huiyan to be fish eggs. Is that thing really edible? Yes, Gu Huiyan usually eats eggs, but that's not the same concept. Eating fish eggs gives Gu Huiyan the same feeling as eating live beads, which are rough eggs. He really can't get rid of that thing. But wouldn't it be a little inappropriate to watch other people eat and not eat it myself? So he had to pick what he thought was edible on the plate and eat it. It's funny to say. In the eyes of others, what is edible on this plate is salmon and caviar, which is the essence, but in Gu Huiyan's eyes, what is edible is actually the vegetables and fruits used on the plate. He. Maybe they also knew Gu Huiyan's familiar formula, but everyone just laughed and didn't say anything. Gu Huiyan didn't cause trouble, let alone disturb everyone's meal, which was quite surprising, because he might be too silent and just immersed himself in his work. The program team was not used to it yet, so he couldn't help but ask. Teacher Xiaogu, don't you want to say something? In fact, the reason why the program team arranged for the guests to eat high-end Western food was just to let Gu Huiyan do the whole thing. There is data to prove that when Gu Huiyan was doing his job, he might have been scolded a lot, but the traffic of the program was rising like crazy. But what confused the show crew was that Gu Huiyan was unusually silent tonight. The program team's words focused everyone's attention on Gu Huiyan. Indeed, compared to usual, Gu Huiyan was a bit too silent today. What are you talking about? Gu Huiyan silently ate the fruit on the plate with chopsticks, grinned and said with a wry smile. Say less. Let's be more qualified this time. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned at first. Immediately afterwards. Puff. Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed like crazy. Barrage blast. You, Gulaoliu, have been making trouble for so long because you are afraid of being exposed on the internet. Ahaha, are you the one who is afraid of being scolded? No, you are so cute, are you serious? Didn't you show off your fried skewers just now? You can play your own tricks, as expected of you, Gu Huiyan. The hint in Gu Huiyan's words was actually very obvious. Wasn't that the fried cow dung incident some time ago? It was implicated in the Wei Jiao incident on their first night at Crystal Love Season. Many people said that Gu Huiyan interrupted Su Yuntang's speech many times, which was rude, that he was unqualified to eat with chopsticks, and that he was disrespectful by making a 5 Wei Jiao night market limited edition. Anyway, after eating a high-end Wei Jiao beef, I was scolded like crazy. So come here to eat Western food today. Except for the waiter in the store asking for a pair of chopsticks, Gu Huiyan didn't say much. He goes his own way and doesn't care much about what others think of him, nor is he afraid of others laughing at him, but the key is that he can't stand someone taking the lead. Just talk about this Western food. To be honest, he doesn't understand. If you talk too much, if you say something wrong again, let the little Heza find the point to discredit him. Not disgusting enough. So just say a few words, have a meal and go back quickly. The less trouble, the better. Ha ha ha. Everyone was amused by Gu Huiyan's words, and some netizens started to use the phrase the dragon slayer will eventually become the evil dragon, which is very funny. Apart from laughter, everyone looked at Gu Huiyan with a hint of distress in their eyes. Yes, on the surface, Gu Huiyan was just joking, but in fact, Gu Huiyan's words just showed that he was not completely indifferent to the rhythm of the internet some time ago. He just didn't show it on the surface. Look. The original Dragon Slayer who ate steaks well cooked, used chopsticks, and made night market limited editions has now become taciturn and no longer wants to reveal himself so much. So what exactly did internal entertainment bring to Gu Huiyan? Look in his eyes. There is no light anymore, okay. It was obvious that he had eaten steak that night when he first came to Crystal Love Season, but there was light in his eyes, and he could make miracles happen again. Now, he doesn't even dare to show his light. How distressing. Not to mention the guests who are here at this moment. Even behind the scenes, the person carrying the dishes and preparing to play the maid, Pei Jingshu, who was about to play the role of a waiter and serve everyone, felt a little distressed on her beautiful face.